We have a lot to talk about today.
Sounds good.
I don't know if you're aware of that or not.
Nope.
But it was funny because I was just thinking the other day, I like to do the episodes that highlight our team members' achievements. And your life has been radically shifted from the time you started jiu-jitsu to who you are today.
For sure.
And it was cool. I was talking to your wife about it the other day. And then literally, you know how you like link up on people's frequencies? Like, I don't know exactly what's going on through the cosmos. I was thinking about that when you sent me the picture at that event, meeting a guy who recognized you from the Endless Endeavor podcast.
So crazy.
Which was what, a year ago maybe now?
Yeah, probably a year ago.
And all what I found interesting about that too is for him to recognize you means he's one of our very few YouTube watchers.
Yep.
Because the YouTube channel is just never taken off. We get anywhere from 100 to 300 views an episode on YouTube. And so it's like, and then not only did he come up to your booth and you guys connect, and you said you geeked out on jiu-jitsu for a while.
We talked for like 30 minutes. 25 minutes of it was jiu-jitsu.
Of course, bro.
5 minutes on what we do.
And then that led to what looks like a potential professional partnership.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, it's a perfect fit. We're going to be heading down there probably next month or so to meet with him and his team.
Dude, it's so crazy. And like I always say, if you guys hear vacuums and stuff in the background, it's because we're in the back of a jiu-jitsu academy. So I apologize, but that only lasts another minute or two. Yeah, and you've really, like, I love that you're one of the guys, we text very often. You like, if you have what you're thinking about in regards to jiu-jitsu, a lot of times at night, you're like, hey man, I was just thinking from this position. But another thing that I've noticed over the last year or two is jiu-jitsu working its way into your professional life. Whether it's, like you said, that old guy who's a very successful entrepreneur that was at an event you were at. Did he see your ears, or how did that come up?
Yeah, so he sits on an industry board with me, and he runs a $3 billion division of a $90 billion company. And he noticed my ears during the board meeting. And then we're like,
and he's what, in his 70s or something, right?
Yeah,
okay.
He's probably, early 60s, most likely. Yeah. And we talked jiu-jitsu and grappling, and he did judo and jiu-jitsu. And then he was the first person. There's another person on our board where he did judo his whole life with his wife. And even this last conference, I probably had 6 or 7 conversations with people that I kind of know from the industry that just like noticed my ears and were starting to talk about jiu-jitsu and wrestling and grappling. So it's pretty interesting.
And again, talking to your wife about it, who would have thought, like, obviously when people start jiu-jitsu, they realize like, okay, this is going to be a journey of health and fitness and even the underlying things like camaraderie and your team and stuff. But to have like a direct correlation to a professional business that is, I mean, I don't even know how to describe what you do, but it's completely outside of the realm of grappling.
For sure.
Yet you're finding little pieces here and there that connect everything.
Well, I think there's 2 things to that. There's the little pieces that connect it through the community, right? So there's like a black belt that's with, he works with one of our partners down in Tulsa, and he's a very, very good black belt, early 40s. And this guy's running, a $300 million, division of a company. But then there's just the aspect of how much jiu-jitsu has helped me decompress and problem solve and disconnect for multiple hours, multiple times a week. Because if I did other activities, I was always connected somehow. I was always connected on emails or Slack messages or text messages or whatever. And in here, you're here for 2 hours, and you're typically not looking at emails when you leave here because you're assessing your life on the mats. And then often I don't even look at an email until like the next morning. I think that's so good in terms of focus, energy, recovery mentally. And so there's a massive aspect that has on that compared to anything else I've done.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, before jiu-jitsu, your primary like hobby was golfing.
Yep.
I remember you talking about that. And not taking anything away from it. I think golf can be fun. I just don't have time for it.
It's a huge amount of time. It's also, I consider it almost I don't don't call it a fake athletic sport, but it can fake you into thinking you're doing something athletic.
I would
if that
agree
makes
with
sense.
that. I would agree with that.
Because there's a lot of like, drinking and smoking cigars or whatever people turn to a social event, which is fun.
Yeah.
But then you're not eating healthy. You're riding a cart a lot of the time. It does take balance and coordination and skills and soft hands and all that stuff. But you're kind of tricking yourself into thinking you're doing something athletic and being outside.
Jiu-jitsu is the opposite of soft hands.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, and that's the thing with golf. Like, I think because I golfed a lot as a kid because my grandfather loved golfing, and that was like the thing we connected on.
Yep.
And as soon as I graduated high school, that was pretty much it for me. But there is a fascinating aspect of golf of how technical it is.
It's incredibly hard.
But the thing is, the amount of time that you have to dedicate to golf to get good at it, for me, it was like the juice isn't worth the squeeze unless you want to become a pro and actually like do it as a profession or something. But I felt like time could be better used, especially when you're like, how much time a day do you have to be an athlete or to work out or to prioritize yourself or to pursue your hobbies? And the time that you'd have to give golf to ever become proficient at it, it just never really made sense for me.
No, and the other thing too is like the area we live, you get like 4 to 5 good months of golf.
Yeah.
Right. So like, let's just say it starts Memorial Day weekend, and maybe not even until July, because your golf game in the bad weather months is completely different than the good weather months. Right.
Oh, so you got to like get in the groove over the first 2 months.
It takes you a couple months just to start to get back into feeling your hands, feeling your touch, all the stuff in like good weather. Then you'll peak for like 30 days.
And then it's rainstorm.
Yeah, it's horrible. And then if you don't peak for those 30 days, maybe you peak, but like you're off just a little bit and you're missing your shots, you're missing your putts because you just go on a cold streak, right? It's horrible. And then you have to like reset. And then that was my experience for it, because I wasn't going to go golf in, November.
No, of course not,
Yeah.
dude. I never even really thought of that. And here's the thing. I mean, if you live in Arizona, which I'm flying out to in 3 hours, and it keeps you on your feet and you're logging miles and you're hanging out with your friends, like I can see, especially when you're older,
Yep.
I can see how that could be appealing.
Also, what I've noticed, so my dad golfs a lot, my stepmom golfs a lot. They're very young. So my dad's 72 now, going to be 72.
We consider that young because we're in our 40s now.
For sure. but he has like a very like young energy about him, and they golf a lot. And what I've noticed is there's people that golf on their courts that could be like 90 years old. So what do they have to do? They have to drive up. They have to take out their clubs. They have to line up at the tee box. They have to swing. So there's a lot of balance, momentum, core swinging and stuff at between 70 and 90 that I think keeps them young compared to people that don't do those things.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy when I go, that's a great sport actually. And then they try to walk the course like 2 or 3 times a week, like 9 to 12 holes. So they get a lot of steps in. But I think golf is great for older people just to keep the balance, the core strength, all that stuff as well.
Dude, you're convincing me. I may be switching to golf at some point.
At some point.
I've always said after jiu-jitsu, I'll probably become a yogi, which is very similar in the fact that, well, I shouldn't say similar, but the things you mentioned are something you can pursue at a very old age. Balance, core strength, mobility. I think yoga is going to be really good for that.
So I think that there's going to be a trend of folks like yourself that are like, really good black belts that are going to create like yoga jiu-jitsu classes for the jiu-jitsu community as they age.
Yeah.
Because like right now you could take a yoga class that's not really taught by a 3rd degree, 4th degree, 5th degree black belt, right? But I think as we get older, people aren't going to want to go lock horns all the time, but they want to keep up the mobility, the flow, the human interaction, the touch, the camaraderie. And I think there's going to be like this flow yoga thing for people in their 60s, 70s, 80s.
Do you follow Cameron Shea? Do you know who that is?
I don't think so.
It's Lovato's mobility coach.
Oh, yes, I do.
And it kind of goes into what you're saying,
Yep.
Because I think he's probably maybe my age, a little older.
Yep.
And a lot of his stuff is exactly that, just flowing, being in your body, being present.
But they don't roll though, right? Like
No. That's what I'm saying. It's
But I think this is going to be a combination. Like you're actually going to do flow rolls together,
oh, I see what you're saying.
right? Because you're not going to go out there and want to kill each other and do all the stuff. You just want to keep that same essence of jiu-jitsu, but like in a yoga flow class that's actually teaching jiu-jitsu, but you're going like 50-60%.
Well, bro, by the time that's viable for you, you'll be a black belt. That can, be, that can be your next.
Awesome.
That can be your next entrepreneurial endeavor.
But I could see that at being like at retirement communities and in places like in Arizona, because there are a bunch of us that are in our 40s, they're in jiu-jitsu that when we're 60, 70, 80, it's so good for you for mobility, balance, core, all these things. You don't want to give it up, and you don't want to just go to yoga. You actually still want to put your hands on somebody.
I go back and forth, bro, because I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, I want to do jiu-jitsu until my last breath, because jiu-jitsu is real. The crazy thing about jiu-jitsu, it's given me everything I have.
Yeah.
It's a superpower, man. Yeah. But then the other side of it is I love the competitiveness of it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's funny because that's its own rabbit hole we can go down.
Yep.
You know, a lot of guys like, you don't try and win during training, and like, I kind of do.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I still don't know what the right answer is. A lot of the best guys in the world don't try and win at training. And then bro, I was in the mat rooms with all of the checkmat black belt world champions.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you, every one of them was trying to win in training.
For sure.
And I could probably charge half those guys with sexual assault. You know?
So funny.
And so it's like, but for me, I enjoy the competition with my friends.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about ego, because like I've had a lot of talk with guys about ego lately, and I think it's because of like, there's a whole conglomerate of reasons, because I think as we try and grow as people, looking at your ego is something a lot of people do in their 40s.
Yep.
And try and find like a balance to it and all that shit. I don't think that there's a problem with your ego wanting to be hyper competitive on the mats. I think what the problem with your ego is if you allow the outcome to affect you.
100%.
Because like you and I, bro, every time we lock horns, there's a 0% chance either one of us is going to be willing to give up a takedown.
Yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah.
And we probably have, I mean, at this point, if we combined all of our rolls, we probably have 4 hours of just collar ties and pushing each other's weight around.
Yep.
And, but if the takedown happens, neither one of us are going to be upset about it afterwards. No. We're actually going to be kind of like, fuck, dude, how did you finally get that?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, that's what where I've landed lately is like, don't check your ego at the door. Just check in with it.
I like that.
You know, make sure that part of becoming a good grappler is that drive to win.
Yep.
Because bro, you put your hands on guys that have no drive to win. And sometimes it's almost frustrating.
Yep, absolutely.
It's like, what are we doing here? You're just,
I also think it's about winning like the day, and you don't have to necessarily win the round, but you have to like win the position, or you have to win what you're working on. And so if you're intentional about that, if your intentions are that you want to go win the round, great. But if your intentions are, I'm going to be working on this passing sequence, or I'm going to be working on the submission sequence or the setup, whatever it is, and you are being very intent with who you roll with, try to make that better, and then you're in winning the day is like, did I get better? Did I do like what I thought I was going to do, rather than did I win? Because quote unquote, I won something. We have no idea the person that you're rolling with, like, were they working on something?
Yeah.
Were they trying to put themselves in a bad position? Did they have a horrible week? Are they feeling under the weather? Like, there could be a million things that you don't control on that roll.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like, are you doing what you set out to do? And I think if people did that, that's a little bit different self-awareness of, it's just these little wins that you're stacking up along the way.
Another thing to think about is like, if I'm trying to butterfly sweep you,
Trying.
if I
Every time.
Well, but here's the thing: when I do play my butterfly guard against your fucking lifetime wrestling base, it forces me to have to cross all my T's, dot all my I's, make sure everything is correct. And if it's not, I'm not going to be able to move your base.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you're not giving me full intention of you are not sweeping me, it actually detracts from my training.
Without a doubt.
You know? Yeah. And it's like when Adam Warzinski swept me with that butterfly sweep, the famous video that took him like 5 or 6 tries, right? And he texted me, and I don't know if he was just like making sure that he wasn't hurting my feelings or whatever. But he's like, hey, bro, I just wanted you to know I posted that because of how hard you are to sweep.
That's awesome.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's like a fucking, talk about a compliment.
Crazy.
You know?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. He wants guys that are hard to sweep. Why? So he doesn't get it on the first one. He doesn't get it on the second one. He has to chain 5, 6, 7 sequences together, and then he finally got it.
Yep.
That's what's going to make the sweeper and the passer better.
Yeah. And also, like, I think, you know, when you're picking your partners to roll with, like, there are people you're going to pick to roll with that might be able to, there's a different reason why you're picking them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so if I'm going to pick guys that are lighter weight than me, but higher skill sets, like Tyler,
mm-hmm.
right? Tyler is like 175 pounds, maybe 180, strong as can be, super good brown belt. And if you do pass his guard, he's going to be able to re-guard very quickly. So for me, if I'm going to roll Tyler, my whole thing is like, I'm working on like on my space and my pressure and my control. That if I do pass his guard, I don't let him re-guard. That's my goal.
Your goal. Yeah.
That's my goal.
Yep.
Which I haven't been successful at yet because he always ends up re-guarding.
He's good at getting that knee in.
He's so good.
And then it goes right into his half guard.
Yep. And if I go with one of the bigger guys and I'm going to pass their guard, you can cheat a little bit on your transitions because the space you open up, they can't re-guard as fast as Tyler can.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then they provide a different problem. They're bigger, they're a little stronger, they're doing different things too. So I think part of it is being like really intense. So I've been trying to like pick these guys right now. Like I've noticed that I give up space areas. So I want to pick the guys that are like, you know, Stillwell and Tyler and Eli and stuff that like,
capitalize on the tiniest opportunities.
Yeah. And so I think if you're like, but again, that round's going to look way different than if you pick somebody else.
Yeah.
Your win's going to look different there.
Have you noticed any of our teammates reluctant to roll with you because of how good you're getting?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I think
I haven't really noticed that either. I was just thinking because as I sit here now and kind of just think about what, as we're talking about ego and stuff, that probably starts to have more of a seat at people's tables just because they're getting smashed.
Oh,
you know,
I think our culture is so good that we have so many good people on the mats that like any round you can get submitted by somebody and everyone's there. Like not, like you said, they're not trying to create a highlight reel. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, how many times you see an upper belt and a lower belt after rounds sit there and talk about the round.
Yeah.
You know, or two upper belts sit there and talk about the round. And we have some, you know, you get some studs that roll that are like 180 pounds and they go after each other. They have an awesome, fun round and they're experimenting the rounds. They're having fun and they sit there afterwards. So I think our culture is different. You know, we don't have this big ego thing.
Yeah. I know we kind of touched on it briefly about how as you become more immersed in jiu-jitsu, you're seeing it affect other aspects of your life, your professional life. Some of the more obvious ones, obviously physically, you're a different human being.
Yep.
Like, did you even measure like body fat percentages or anything like that?
No.
You just look at the pictures though.
Yeah.
You very often will post like before and after pictures.
For sure.
And it's just like, not even the same human being.
Yeah. Completely different.
But what else have you noticed, be it your relationship, professional, just how your body feels like? And the thing is, it's a very slow progression. So sometimes it's hard to take notice in the things that are happening. But here you are, what, 2.5 years now?
Yeah, a little bit over 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, I think it started December.
And looking back on it like, oh, fuck, man.
Yeah.
A lot has changed.
Yeah, so a couple things. So I think you have multiple purposes in life. And I have my career purpose and the company I'm building. I've always been like very purposeful driven there. But I didn't have a non-work purpose. Mm-hmm. Jiu-jitsu's given me that, right? Like I have a purpose where I love this thing. I love to learn about it. I love to train it. I love our community. I love everything about it, which is awesome. I think a lot of people have purposes outside work, and I didn't necessarily relate to that. Because a lot of people have like their job and they might have a career to it, but their purpose is around sports or around their kids or around something that's out there. So when I met Fawn the girls, you know, they have Fawn plays, she still does travel softball. Like she's on a travel softball team this year. She plays volleyball. She does all the stuff. Girls play other sports. They had a lot of play and the adults played. I'm like, oh, interesting. So Fawn's been playing softball since she's graduated high school on competitive leagues.
And she's what, 40?
43.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Didn't know the thing. So she got asked to be in a senior, so 40 and over travel softball team that they'll go play senior, right? It's so funny. And they'll play.
Just call us masters.
Call it masters. That's what I said.
Sounds a little better.
I know for sure. And so they're going to play travel tournaments throughout the year. So she'll play her local tournaments and travel tournaments. I'm like, that's awesome. So she had a purpose that was like her play purpose that she loves, and she gets better at it. And when she trains for it, she's training for her workouts are purposeful, driven for volleyball and softball. She goes to the batting cage, all this stuff, and she connects with the girls on it. Jiu-jitsu has given me that for sure, which is this lifelong kind of journey now of this purpose outside of work. And I think when you have that joy outside of work, and I have a lot of joy inside of work, but having that joy outside, I think it's a multiple factor. It multiplies it up.
Do you think, though, it came into your life at potentially the right time?
Absolutely.
Because if you only have so many hours in the day and so much energy to give.
Yep.
And based on what I hear and see,
yeah,
I mean, fuck, bro, you're giving jiu-jitsu at a minimum 10 hours a week.
Yeah, but I don't sleep a lot.
yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, before jiu-jitsu, it's not like those 10 hours were spent watching Netflix. Those 10 hours were probably going into the company, right?
Yeah, whether they're going in the company, I was probably reading more, right? I still read a lot, but I definitely read more. Like I could read a book a week back then. It was definitely going in the company, but it wasn't going in the company in the most efficient way. So the other thing jiu-jitsu does is it allows you to problem solve differently. I've noticed that my brain has rewired on how to approach situations and how to, I want to say I got the paralysis of the analysis, but not make things into big deals. Right. And I'd often make things into big deals in my head. I do my best not to like expose that to the team, but that's sometimes
you're still feeling that anxiety or whatever,
right?
On the inside.
It's not there anymore. It's like, we're going to figure this out. Like there are,
Dude, I say it all the time, man. When you get comfortable with neon face, suddenly a little whatever over here, it's just like, well, I'm not getting suffocated.
Yeah. So maybe that's 5 hours of my week. Maybe 5 hours of my week was inefficient problem solving.
Okay.
Right. Or spending the wrong amount of time on different things.
Yeah.
Right. And so like that's gone now. So now I'm only a 5 hour differential. And then I've just kind of quit doing some other things, I'm sure, that were just a waste of time. But the company's not, the company's getting a lot better productivity and output from me than whatever the 10 hours of investment is.
Okay. So even though, yeah, exactly. A little less time perhaps.
Yeah.
But it's getting a better version of you.
Way better version.
Wow.
Without a doubt. I mean, like,
I love what you said too. You said, I get a lot of joy from work.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people are there.
I don't think so either.
And you built your own business and it's, I think when you do that and it's your baby and you have the autonomy to be able to change things however you see fit, it's probably going to be more congruent with someone that can find joy in what they do because you're steering the ship. But also I'm sure that's just a mindset too.
Yeah. So definitely a mindset, but also I think that you have more control in the type of people that you work with all the time. Like, I have a real heavy influence on the type of humans that are on our team and less than, but still an influence the type of people we work with. Right. So, we work with companies, but we look for, certain attributes of the companies. Like if they're a company that you don't want to work with, we have that option not to work with them. There are obviously, bad apples inside those companies, but that's okay. A lot of people inside their careers don't have that autonomy. They can't pick their team members. They can't pick their bosses. So the people I'm around are like really good people.
Yeah.
So that helps out with the joy because,
Well, bro, I guess that's everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always say you can stand on your head in a pile of shit if you're with the right people.
Without a doubt. And we have we have very little turnover on our team, really good humans. The partners we work with are awesome people. Like they're all just super interesting. You love to see them. It's not anytime you went, oh my gosh, wait for this dinner to get over. We have to get out of here.
Yeah.
Like they're all rad.
And you're in it together.
You're in it together.
I'm not going to say his name because I actually asked him to do the podcast and he declined. But one of our teammates who spent time in prison.
Yeah.
Because these stories are rad. Bro.
Yeah.
We talked for like an hour the other night.
Yep.
And he said, man, one thing that a lot of people don't think about in regards to prison is like you're in there with a bunch of people that are going through the same thing.
Yep.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
And everybody's missing their family. Everybody's like dealing with whatever you're dealing with in there. And he goes, it forms like a camaraderie and a brotherhood that you don't find. He goes, I haven't felt that. He goes, until I came here.
Interesting.
He goes, but even like full disclosure, in there, it's even tighter because it's all you have.
It's all day.
It's all you have.
Yeah, it's all. That's interesting.
And he said, like, even to this day, there's a part of me that you'll be in. Some rooms are bunked with like 10 guys or whatever, right? And you're telling stories, you're telling jokes, you're laughing, you're learning about each other. And it's like, and it just to kind of build exactly off of what you're saying, it doesn't really matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
As long as you're with the right people.
Yep. So that's a massive part of it. And then the mindset. I mean, the mindset is I'm a pretty positive person. You know, I kind of think I always have pretty good retrospective on like how bad things could be. And so they're never like as bad as they could be.
Do you ever just wake up and feel like shit?
No. Like,
have you ever?
Like on a attitude wise?
Not even like a perfect example. It happened a few days ago to me. I just woke up and it just felt like, I don't even know what you would call it. I mean, maybe it's called depression, but I don't think it's depression because I don't sit there very long. But you just feel like there's kind of like a negative vibe around you and it's hard to shake.
Quite possibly, I got in a ski accident like in 2011, I want to say 2011. It was a pretty bad ski accident, maybe before then. But since that ski accident, I think like my DNA changed in a lot of ways because I was in the trauma unit for a couple of weeks and it was a 6-month recovery and all this stuff. So like that takes you down to like very basic levels, right? That's like, okay, a fundamental level, I have titanium rib plates and I had a tube through my lung and I'm in this trauma unit and the whole deal, right? And then people in there, I'm probably the healthiest person in that trauma unit. And that gives you a reality check pretty early on. And so everything after that, I think back to that, like that's like the worst it could have been.
What a gift, bro.
It's a very good gift. Yeah. And so I think,
if you ever, I'm going to take your advice. Next time I'm just feeling like I'm having a sad day,
just hit a rock.
I'm just going to throw my body.
Just throw your body.
I'm going to go up to Stevens Pass and just fucking beeline down a double diamond.
Yeah. Yeah.
How old were you when you got hurt?
I was 20, what is that? 15. So maybe 26, 27.
Was that something that like changed the trajectory of your life, or were you able to kind of?
I don't think it changed the trajectory of my life, but at pivotal moments of when we were building the company and scaling the company, when people would get really fearful about things, I didn't have as much fear or any fear, right? Like, because that's always like the worst case. Like the worst day was the day in that trauma unit, that 6 months of recovery.
And you were in the hospital for a month?
I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. So I was in the trauma unit for 13 days. Yeah.
Tell me about the accident.
Just bad visibility at the top of the mountain.
Where were you?
We're up at Bachelor.
Okay.
So I was with my stepbrother who trains up in Bellingham and our buddy Ryan, and bad visibility at the top. And we were just trying to get down to the next level, next chairlift. And I just hit this sheet of ice and there's a father-son in front of me. And so when I hit the sheet of ice, I went the other way. Like I saw them the same time I hit that sheet of ice and then I hit the rock. And then Tyler and Ryan were in front of me. So they got down to the next chairlift. I didn't come down. They're like, oh, we should go see if Adam's up there. They found me there with people around and they had to get the rescue ski patrol.
Yeah.
Right. They put me at toboggan, take me down
Were you conscious?
Yeah, I was conscious. I knew something was really bad. So I thought I cracked ribs and I played sports my whole life. And I never had like anything besides a dislocated elbow, Nothing that was like really horrible. So I knew something was wrong, but I figured just probably bad cracked ribs, maybe a fractured sternum or something. So I was just trying to stay calm. We get down to the base of the mountain. They do x-rays and they're like, okay, we got to get you to the hospital. So they take me to Manual Legacy in Portland. On the way in there, they start to put in drugs into me for pain, management. They get me in there and they say, okay, you've cracked all your ribs. You've punctured your lung. It's collapsed. It's filling with liquid. We got to take this plastic tube and we got to put it through your broken ribs.
They gave you a chest tube in the ambulance?
No, right in the ER.
And they didn't knock you out for it, huh?
No, they
dude.
did. So check this out. So going back to that dislocated elbow, my senior year in wrestling, I'm wrestling down this tournament in Vancouver, BC, and they match you up 1 versus 16, right? So I'm the first seed. I'm going against the 16 seed. So it's like senior versus freshman.
In the whole bracket's like that?
The whole bracket.
Is that to keep the best guys into the... You don't want the two best guys to knock each other out.
Yeah, so wrestling tournaments go 1, 16, 2, 15, 3, 14, and so forth.
Okay.
And then you should meet there, right?
Yeah.
So often you're like senior versus freshman.
So your first match, you're just murking dudes.
For sure. It's very easy, right? Or you get a bye. That's the whole point, right? But you start off your career at that 15 or 16 guy. You have to work your way up, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I take this guy out of bounds. We go out of bounds. We come back in. He trips over the mat, and we both land on my arm. My arm bends backwards, like 90 degrees. They thought I broke my elbow. They put me in an air cast with my arm backwards, take me to the hospital, and they find out it's a fully dislocated elbow back.
Wait, they casted it with it pointing the wrong way?
The wrong way, because they didn't want to move it to mess up the tendons.
Okay.
Right? So they didn't want to move this over. So they put me in there to go back there to get x-rays. They found out it was just a clean dislocation. So they reset it, but they put me out for like 2 minutes.
Okay.
To reset the arm. And I had this big brace and we move it like a degree, every week or so as you get better and stuff. So when we're in the ER for the ski accident, I remember that. And so in my ski accident, I had 5 shattered ribs in the front, 11 clean break in the back, lung collapsed, sternum fractured, and my shoulder was a grade 4 AC separation. So I knew they had to reset my shoulder. So in there, when the doctor says I have to put this plastic tube, it's going to be the worst pain of my life. I go, well, you have to reset my shoulder, right? He goes, so yeah. I go, I dislocated my elbow when I was a senior in high school. They put me under.
This is so Adam.
Yeah.
You're negotiating with the doctor.
Yeah, for sure. And I go, can you put me under for a few minutes to do my shoulder and then put the plastic tube in? And they're like, yeah, we can try. When I woke up, the plastic tube was in.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and so that tube had to stay. So they ended up putting rib plates on my ribs because they shattered and they're going to start to splinter back, right? So there's this time where my lung has to be healthy enough to go into surgery, and that the ribs have not completely mended back, and it was the worst pain inside this bed. Like anytime you moved, right? All these like
I would imagine every time you breathe.
It's horrible. So on day 6. They rule that my lung is healthy enough to go into surgery, and they go put titanium rib plates on. The best thing ever. So I get out of the surgery. Now I can move. So then my lung was still draining, and I think it quit draining on day 12 and went home on day 13.
And you say draining like through that chest tube that you
through that chest tube. Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, and then the kid next to me, like I was again the healthiest person. Kid next to me broke his neck. He was paralyzed, from the the room next door from the waist down or from the neck down. So for me, it was a wake up call. It was like a bottom point in my life in terms of wow, my entire life is about like healing and getting better and getting out of here and getting my lung healthy and all the stuff. But I had firsthand experience how people's lives changed and they weren't going to be as lucky as I was.
Yeah.
So that's changed my outlook on everything. And I don't even like consciously think about it. I just know that was a thing that, like you said, did you wake up ever feeling bad? No. Like, no.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think this conversation alone is going to make me wake up never feeling bad. You know what? I talk about it in my book though. It's like, hey, if you feel like the storm of life is just heavy, and you're having a hard time for whatever it could be any reason, right? It's funny. I told Jenny that I think it was the day before yesterday. I was feeling like this. I'm going to take my own advice from my book and just like, hey, for whatever reason, it feels like you're in a storm. But we've all been in storms enough time by the time you're 40 years old that it's like, it's all good.
It's all good.
Just keep walking.
Yep.
And then I'll be out of it. And then it was funny. I took a nap. I took a nap in the middle of the day and I woke up and I was like, yeah, whatever that feeling was gone now. Maybe I was just tired.
It's crazy. It's
like I literally reset my emotions.
Yeah.
Just from taking a fucking nap, dude.
Yeah. And there's so we have our life experiences. I've read a lot of books where people have gone through challenges of companies or personal challenges or whatever. It's like, I always believe like if they can do it, then I can do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like we're doing something that no one's ever done before.
Yeah.
Right. So,
well, bro, in perspective, I mean, that's exactly what you just talked about. And I'm glad you're telling the story because even me sitting here now, I've had a lot of life experiences where it's like, man, I can't even imagine living like that or being that person. Like I talked to my kids about it. I've told the story on the podcast before where my middle daughter, Reagan, we went to Mike Novak's house.
Yeah.
And their last house was a really beautiful house out in Granite Falls.
Yeah, like a compound.
Yeah, and we got home and Reagan goes, why is our house so small? And I was like, you live in a 2,600 square foot, 4-bedroom house. Each one of your sisters has your own bedroom. I said, I lived in places in Afghanistan where families of 12 lived in a little hut the size of your room alone.
And you have a jiu-jitsu studio.
Yeah.
And you have an archery range.
Yeah.
And you have a river lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, exactly. Like, Reagan, you have more than you can imagine, but she doesn't. The perspective that she had was we just went to my dad's friend's house, and it's way nicer than our house. Yep. That's the perspective they have. And that's why it's important. I'm not saying crash into a rock on skis to be able to have perspective, but if you can look at things that have happened in your life, or like you even said, not only did you have personal perspective, but you're looking in the bed next to you. That guy's paralyzed for life.
For life. And so even like on good stories, like I'm rewatching The Last Dance on Netflix, the Bulls dynasty story. And the last episode I was watching was the kind of the Phil Jackson story where, this guy had, from a farm, his parents are like ministers and pastors or something. And then he played some like, college basketball at some like whatever school. And then he gets in the pros and he has a good pro career. Then went into coaching, but like, he's not like he goes straight to the NBA. He coaches some like team I've never heard of and a league I've never heard of. Then he goes to like Puerto Rico and he coaches for like 2 years. And then he eventually comes to be an assistant. And so all you know is like Phil Jackson winning all these championships. But he had like an 8-year grind where he was not near family or friends. Even
though I'm not a basketball guy, I should probably watch that, huh?
I've
never watched it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's incredible because it's around the Bulls dynasty, Jordan years, and just to see like his perspective, what he demanded from himself and his teammates, how Phil Jackson managed all these characters, all the stuff. It's an incredible. It's like a 10-part documentary series. Each one's like an hour.
Okay,
it's really good because his last year as a Bull, Jordan granted access to a camera crew, and it was never seen before until he did this documentary.
Was there also a shorter documentary on Jordan specifically?
Yep.
Okay, because some of this feels like it's ringing a bell, but there's no way I watched 10 hours of something like that.
Yeah, they have a few other ones that are like this, but this is probably, to me, this is probably the best documentary. You see somebody that, the struggle that these kids have gone through. Now, obviously, they have these physical attributes, right, that are, 6'6", 6'9", but they came from like, houses where, like they said, they didn't know they were poor, right? Their grandma had like a basketball hoop that was in the dust, and they would just go out there because they had 9 brothers and sisters, and then you get the house, they could go play by themselves outside. And then Scottie Pippen stories, like, he was like 5'10", 5'11". He goes to become the equipment manager at the local college, waiting for someone to drop out with grades. He grows from 5'10" to 6'3". They give him a shot on the team. You sit here and go, yeah, he had the physical attributes, but he also had to love basketball. He also had to get good at it. He also had to go become the equipment manager. He had to put his ego aside. He loved the game. And like, so yes, you see this massive success story and he had these other things go with him, but he might have never got that shot if he was 5'10" and he just decided to go into accounting or go do something else.
Yeah.
Like he was around the game.
Well, no, I mean, that's how everything in life is.
Yeah.
Where it's like, once you've made it, other people look up and be like, well, it's because of this, or, well, he's this, so that's why he got there, you know? And it's like, well, if that were the case, everybody that was above 6'3" would be a professional basketball player.
Well, Jordan and Nike, he didn't even like Nike. Nike was a track shoe. So like, he didn't want to go take the meeting. He wanted to be an Adidas guy. So Converse had like all the players, right? They had Larry and they had Magic and everybody in there, and they weren't going to give him his own shoe. So then he wanted Adidas to give him his own shoe, but they had a meeting with Nike. It's like, I'm not going to go. And
become the most iconic shoe of human history.
So his agent called his mom, and his mom's like, well, you're going to go. They invited you out. You're going to listen to him.
It's a polite thing to do.
It's a polite thing to do. And then they give him this great pitch and everything. And
then design the shoe exactly how he wanted it.
Yeah. And they said like their goal was to do like $3 million of sales within 4 years. The first year that they did a shoe, they did $126 million in sales. Like
the business deal that neither side was upset with.
Yeah.
At all.
Isn't that crazy? But
wow.
he wasn't even get on an airplane, but he had great parents. And then he was respectful enough to listen to his parents.
Yeah, you see that. That's a big thing in like those cultures. Because I mean, dude, I was a deputy in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I dealt a lot with the kids that lived in the hood and the gang culture and stuff. And it's like, grandma, the hardest gangbangers in the world, they don't fuck with grandma.
For sure.
Like, they still have that. Well, and I always say, man, like the one thing the gang culture has, right? It's respect.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not saying Jordan's from gang culture. I'm just saying like a lot of those kids that grew up poor in the projects and stuff like that, like respect's a thing, man. And grandma holds it.
Well, they do the story on Dennis Rodman, and Rodman basically gets kicked out of his house at like 16, 17. He's couch surfing, and he sees all of his friends like, get out, go out, get drugs, come back, do drugs. And for whatever reason, he never touched it.
Wow.
Doesn't know why. Just never did. And then he got into college, started playing. So like, you're around this environment, but something in his head, he never did it.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? And it's like just choices.
Dude, I think about that all the time, man, because it's very easy for people when you look at people that if you're growing up in a certain environment, and all your friends and all your family are doing a certain thing, it's going to be very easy for you to fall into that thing too.
100%.
And I'm not saying that if I was one of those, if I grew up in that environment, there's a very good chance I would be a product of my environment. But some people just have that ability to say, you know what, this isn't for me.
Yep.
Everybody's going this way, I'm going to go that way. That's fucking impressive, dude.
I think like possibly the bigger problem is parents that build environments where they're not finding that joy outside of work, like we talked about, right? So like you think about every adult that's in our team out here, their kids are seeing them do hard things and having fun doing hard things.
Yeah.
And saying no to other things to do this.
100%, bro. I say it all the time. A big aspect of parenting is that you have to realize that your kids are not going to do what you say. They're going to see what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's easy to sit on the sidelines, and we even see it here sometimes. Not all the parents of children are actively training.
Yep.
But the ones that are, there's a different energy.
Completely
because they realize, leading from the front, like asking you to do nothing I'm unwilling to do myself, like basic leadership principles. And being a father is a leadership position, whether you want to admit that or not.
Yeah. And it's really interesting to see how respectful the kids are to all the adults. Yeah. Right? Like, it's like, oh, this is awesome because they respect them because they're adults, but I also think they respect them because they're training as well. Yeah. And they're doing the stuff and they look up to them and everything. And that, like, we had when Joao was up, we had that cookout, right? And I remember Fawn and I looking around like, what a great community.
Yeah, that was so cool.
So cool, right? Everyone, you cook out, Anthony made, an awesome brisket.
Yep.
Everyone brought sides and everything. And the kids are running around everywhere. And I think we hung out till like 10 o'clock at night. And it's awesome. And you go, what other place on a Friday night on any sports? Because even like softball and volleyball, they get done, they're done. right? That you got off the mats after an hour and a half, and then you spend another hour and a half together.
And the kids were on the mats from 5 to 6.
Yeah.
And then they're here for another hour and a half. And bro, in all honesty, I have to check myself sometimes because I feel like I'm becoming, one of my friends used the term curmudgeon.
What's that?
I guess it's just like a bitter old man.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because I see the kids running in and out, in and out, in and out. Because now it's 6 o'clock. The adults are training. I'm coaching. And it's like this herd of children, right? And I have to remember, it's like, dude, okay, they're getting some muddy footprints. Instead of interpreting that as disrespect, how about you interpret it as you have 15 kids here enjoying themselves while their parents are training.
Yeah.
And that's another thing about the academy that's like such a blessing in disguise that I was able to build it on a 3-acre lot.
It's
with
incredible.
Fields.
It's incredible.
And they're just out doing kid things.
Yeah.
It's important.
Well, even like Friday night, I think there's the open at the CrossFit. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to have like food trucks.
Yeah.
And stuff out there. It's like Friday night's going to get done. It's going to turn into another event.
Dude, I was, I forget what night it was, but I wasn't training for whatever reason. I was doing some stuff on the boat and all the kids were out running around and dude, they're out playing hide and go seek and it's raining out.
Was it Friday?
I don't remember. And, Request kids came up to me and they said, "Hey, can we use the boat as a hiding spot?" I said, "Absolutely not." Okay. It's not going to be part of your guys' games. With that said, if you want to see the boat, you want to crawl in the cabins, you want to learn about it, I'm completely open to that. And, dude, I'll show you the picture while we're talking because it's cool, man. Because then the kids were like, "Yeah, we do want to see the boat." And they crawled on board and, like, look at Ronnie like hiding down under the deck, but it was just cool. It was cool, right? And I just have to remind myself that like a lot of times I'll see the kids like pulling all the mobility equipment down too, and I'm like, your back doesn't hurt. You don't need to be on a chirp wheel, right?
Yeah.
But that thing's $30.
Yeah,
it's been on the wall for 5 years.
Yeah.
So if they want to fucking play with, and you can't hurt a racquetball, you know what I mean? And so like, I check myself there for sure.
And that group's growing. But like before, even 2 years ago, there weren't as many kids that hung out afterwards. I don't think there were as many parents that were doing jiu-jitsu with their kids in the program as well. And so that group's gone from like 4 or 5 to like 15. So it's a little bit different on managing that herd.
And the thing is, like, I know the kids respect me. Like David Potts' boy, Riker.
Oh, yeah.
He just brought me did like an engraving on a cutting board and put the gym logo on it, right?
That's awesome.
That's cool, man. The kids, they think of us and they have a relationship with us. But they also go out there and do stupid kid shit sometimes too.
Yeah.
With the fire pit or like we caught them fucking around at the neighbor's porch one day, things like that, right? And even though it's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Like, and I check them. But I also have to remember, little kids are going to do little kid shit.
For sure.
And that's completely normal. And it's okay. And use it as a teachable moment and then move on.
Yep.
And bro, isn't that interesting how like so many aspects of leadership and community and everything are happening here in real time, apart from jiu-jitsu as well.
Yeah. And to your point, like they're going to push their boundaries. I'd rather them push their boundaries around this community.
Yeah.
That's not going to go too far and they can get checked by a lot of different people than out doing it when you're not even aware of it.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of nice.
Well, that's one thing I love about this place is I always say like, there's a lot of little issues that pop up and there's 20 people that are going to check it before I have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the thing is, everybody respects that too.
Yeah.
Like if you were to correct any of the kids, no one would be like, "Don't talk to my kid like that."
Yeah, for sure.
They'd be like, "Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
He needed that."
Yeah.
Speaking of perspective, it's a random story. Did you see my post yesterday or my story by chance?
Which one?
About the book that's like my book.
Oh yeah.
Bro.
So crazy.
And so Strength Through Adversity is a book written by a guy named Darren Edwards. And then my book, Courage Through Adversity. So when you type them in, they always pop up together, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what, dude? I've seen this book enough. I'm just going to buy it.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about him, but it's kind of intriguing that our books have a very similar title. That's it. So I buy it, bro, paralyzed in a mountaineering accident.
What?
Paralyzed in a mountaineering accident and still is an avid mountaineer. Crazy. And now he's out doing stuff like this.
That's nuts.
And your story about hurting yourself on the mountain and then being next to a guy that's paralyzed, I was like, man, talk about perspective. So I buy this book and I just share it. And I literally just posted, like, every time I type in my book, I see Darren Edwards' book. So I picked up a copy. And he wrote me this morning and said, thank you so much. I see you have a podcast. If you'd ever be interested in hearing my story, I'd be honored to share it with your listeners.
Wow.
Boom. Another little connection.
So crazy.
Another little weird thing.
That's awesome. You know? That's so nuts.
Are you comfortable talking about like where your business is going and that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
It's all, I know you've been working a lot of deals and meetings and stuff. I don't know how that world works.
Yeah. I can talk about anything that's like not under NDAs, but like for sure. General stuff that I post or whatever, that's fine.
Cause I just think it's interesting how, one thing that I've been trying to help people with is understanding that your job doesn't have to define you. It doesn't have to be your life. And that you can always move on. You can always do different things. You can always find fulfillment on a new journey. And you've been able to build a company that really started from, I mean, what would you even say? Was it a passion project or did you just see an opening in the market?
It was a problem that was like, it was an issue that's causing me a problem personally.
Okay.
And because I was in, business development, application engineer, and we're putting like, technology on machines. And these machines would have issues in the field. And I knew there was like information I could get from those machines to help us before we sent out an engineer. Right. And I just thought like this thing existed and it didn't. Right. And so we just kept on finding out it didn't exist. And it turned into like a little project. And then, like you said, maybe a passion project inside the company I was at. And then that company didn't want to fund it at all. So we spun it out to its own thing.
And you just say, hey, I'm going to do it myself then, huh?
Yeah, for sure. And there's like, a million chapters about how we got from there to here. But a lot of adversity, right? A lot of stuff that was headwinds, both with customers we're working with, partners we're working with. The technology wasn't quite there yet. Just the environment of the industry itself, like all these different things, but you always find a way, right? There's always decisions to be made throughout it. And yeah, so that's where so I believe that when you start a company, if you're passionate about the problem you're solving, or you're trying to solve a problem that hasn't been solved, or it's not solved in the right way, like you can solve it in a better way. Mm-hmm. That's to me, I think you're going to win more often than you're not.
Well, and it's fascinating seeing like, I mean, I don't know the numbers and how like everything's shaken out, obviously, but just watching you go from where you were when I met you, to like all these big companies want to partner, people want to buy us out. We got these offers coming in. Like the trajectory is becoming like exponential. It feels like
for sure. So,
I guess just kind of, I mean, I know you talked about it on the first episode, but just kind of unpack what it is, the problem that you identified. Yeah. And then what you did to solve it. Because bro, isn't that the foundation of entrepreneurship?
Absolutely.
And everybody always, I get I shouldn't say a lot of people, but I get people that are like, oh, it must be nice because you had a skill set to fall back on. So when you had a shift in professions, you had something that you could go to. And it's like, dude, everybody has something they could go to
without a doubt,
if they could identify a problem.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. That's a whole other thread. But
whole other podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. No. Okay. So just to kind of set the stage, we sell technology into the people that build heavy machinery. And our heavy machinery kind of sits in, 4 buckets. So there's on-highway equipment like lift trucks and utility trucks and stuff like that, right? So some type of work truck. Off-highway equipment that's like construction, agriculture, mining, oil and gas, stuff like that. Recreational marine, so like wakeboard boats, and then fire and safety equipment. Those are kind of our 4 major buckets.
You don't do rowboats yet?
We don't do rowboats. Okay. Yeah. And And so the same problem that each one of those buckets has is there have been a lot of advancing in technology in each one of those machines. So there's more display screens, more controls, more electronics, you name it, right? The issue that the industry has is when those machines go down and they quit operating, the people that service those machines are typically very, very good mechanical, diesel mechanics, hydraulic mechanical people that are dangerous around the electronics, but they're not experts. So when you have to start solving electronic and software problems, the people in the field can't solve it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they end up calling the dealers or the service teams to come out and try to solve it. And then they can only solve it to a certain point. So then it's going back into the engineering department of the people that build the machines.
So a really comprehensive, convoluted process.
It's horrible. And then at the same point, there's all these, service technicians, leaving the industry. They're retiring, and we're not getting enough young people into the industry. So there's like this service gap, right? So it's kind of like this perfect storm that's brewed. And if you look at like each one of those examples I gave you, if it's an off-highway piece of equipment, if the machine goes down, you're losing revenue, you're losing production, right? So the value of time to get it up is one thing. You go to recreational marine, if your ski boat goes down,
yeah, it's not pertinent.
It's not pertinent, but it's an upset customer, right? If a fire truck goes down or a fire tool goes down, it's lost lives, right? So like the time is kind of like valued differently throughout it. So what we do is we provide a set of technology, software that sits on those machines and collects all the data and sensors off of those machines. And that software communicates with our cloud, and our cloud allows them to run a bunch of different tools. So we just released an AI technician assistant, which is a mobile app on your phone. So people that are in the field, the data is streaming from these machines. The OEMs upload all their manuals, all their documents, all their knowledge stuff into our AI model. And then when an event occurs, it can give you a guided workflow about how to repair that machine. So that will solve like the really noisy problems, because often we'll get people that it'll literally be like a coolant issue, and they'll call up their local dealer and they'll say, I'm getting this error message on my display screen. And they go, you have to refill the coolant. They refill the coolant, but they don't realize they have to turn off the car or the truck, let it cool down, and then restart it for that error message to go off. So they call them again. So that's just noisy crap that the dealer can't invoice for. And they're taking that call at like 6:30 at night when they're walking into jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
It's just annoying, right? The next thing that technician assistant does is if I'm a 10-year veteran and I have to go fix this machine, I have all the aptitude to fix it, but I have to go dig through manuals to figure out what the fix is. Now we have just put that on the AI technician assistant. So they don't have to spend their time going through manuals. They can do what they want to do, which is work on that piece of machinery. And then the third problem is if I'm a rookie or a 2-year technician assistant, providing them enough knowledge to make them like a 10-year assistant. They don't know what to do. They might be physically capable to, but we can walk them through it. So that solves a set of problems. If that technician assistant can't help you solve the problem, then it goes to the dealer network and we give them a bunch of remote service tools to start diagnosing that machine remotely and either communicating with the people in the field or getting ready to know what they have to do to roll a service truck. So they can run remote scans and logs on the entire machine and take them up to the cloud and put into a lot larger analytics platforms. They can remotely connect a service tool to the actual controllers of the machine and start to troubleshoot. If they can't do that, then it goes back up to the OEM and we give them a lot deeper diagnostic tools. And oh, by the way, every work job that got done with all that data gets shared through the string. So the whole point is, how do we reduce downtime? How do we get those machines up and going? And every step of the way that triage should get more and more machines up and going and less downtime.
See, this is a game for you, huh?
Yeah.
You can tell. I can just tell you're talking about it.
Yeah.
And I'm so far outside of an area of expertise for me that this question might just be ridiculous. But as more and more of the car or the vehicle or whatever it is are being ran by computers,
Yeah.
are you able to diagnose through computers and then also even potentially repair?
Absolutely.
Like, hey, this carburetor's running rich, whatever, and it just can fix itself by a fucking software update.
So a lot of the times machines that go down are due to software updates right now. Because they have quality
nuts.
Software. It's nuts.
And on one hand, it's interesting and it's cool because technology is advancing. But then I'm sure like guys from like my dad's generation, like, this is how you tune a fucking carburetor.
Yeah.
Not have to fucking download some bullshit and install this or that. But it's how shit is now.
So there was so we always had a vision that all the major technology suppliers to the machine builders would have to have a company like Elevate be able to work with them, because the machine builder could have Bosch, Parker Hannifin, Danfoss, Eaton, all these companies that sit on their machine, and no one's going to want to use technology from every single company to do their software updates. They're going to want one unified platform.
Yeah.
So we always believed that was the case. The problem was every single one of these every single one of these suppliers also built their own like telematics connectivity gateway, like a router, right? That went on machines, and they had proprietary service tool protocols. So a few years ago, we made a big push to create technology agreements between all the major suppliers, so we could be that third party, platform.
And nobody was doing this. Huh?
No one's doing this.
That's nuts.
It's nuts. And they didn't want, so the beauty of it is every single major supplier except for one got out of the hardware game, and they quit their hardware program, and they quit it for a number of reasons. The main reason is just all the regulation that's coming in from Europe on cybersecurity and all this stuff forced them to focus on other areas of their business and realize, well, we're not going to build that piece of hardware because we don't sell enough of them. They might sell a couple 100,000 a year, but they weren't selling crazy numbers. Except for one company called Bosch. They build like 3 million of this device. And so we got a partnership. We had a press release on it a couple weeks ago where we got a board approval from Bosch almost 2 years ago to do this commercial and technology partnership in the industry. At the same time, all their peers were getting rid of their hardware platforms. So now our Bosch device can work with all of their competitors and peers' software tools and get put on an OEM's machine. So it's given us like an unbelievable opportunity to get our footprint and all these machines through one hardware supplier, but working with all of the service tools from all their peers in the industry.
Now you call them peers, but also rivals.
Yeah. And the reason
but does it also be mutually beneficial to everybody? Yeah?
For sure, because they need someone to service their technology, but also in that industry, often Parker will actually white label sensors from Bosch, and Bosch might white label a controller from Danfoss. Like it happens all the time, actually, because they're putting a piece of technology into a larger system, so they're all rivals, their peers, their customers,
almost partners in a certain way.
It's interesting, right? So it's very,
and you hear that with cars all the time because people are like, especially like, oh, but I only buy American. It's like, well,
better buy Toyota. Because that's like the most American.
Yeah, let's talk about all these little pieces and where they're manufactured and where they're imported from and whatnot.
I think Toyota Tundra is like the most American made, manufactured, and truck in America. Like I'm pretty positive that's still the case.
My father's rolling over in his grave.
Yeah, I think it's like, I'm pretty positive that
he always used to say, I don't want to walk out into my garage and feel like I'm on the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
Yeah. So there's the technology aspect.
So he had a Bronco.
Yes. So there's the technology aspect to this, but then there's the commercial aspect, right? So all of these partners, they are trusted technology suppliers to the people that build the machines. So if I have to go in and talk to a customer, an OEM that builds a machine, it's going to take me a long time to build a relationship with those OEMs because they already have their supply chain, their bill of materials, have everything that goes into there.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're still working with people that you want to work with, and they have these strong relationships inside these companies. So with the technology partnerships, it takes us a few years to develop them and get people trained in the whole deal. But then they start bringing you into meetings with their OEMs, with their manufacturers, and we're brought kind of to the front of the line. And so that go-to-market path, so you have the technology path and the go-to-market path, is they're walking us in and they're saying, oh, this is Elevate. They're our technology partner that does this. And all of a sudden we're meeting with all the decision makers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a game changer, because that sales cycle has shrunk now from like 5+ years of targeting a customer, building a relationship, getting a pilots, all the stuff, to going, oh, you're a partner with Bosch or you're a partner with whomever. You can come in and you can sit with us right now, and we'll start talking about our next generation machine.
Isn't that kind of how it works with everything, though?
For sure.
It's like it's a snowball effect.
Snowball effect.
And it works in almost every aspect of life.
Yeah.
And it's like no momentum, a little bit more, and then it just starts fucking going, dude.
Yeah. And it's to the point now where we're expanding into Europe. We're going to be hiring expanding personnel into Europe. So we're actually setting up an entity in Germany to hire our first, engineers in Germany, because we have enough business that's being deployed in Europe that we actually have to have local people there to support it.
So what do you rank Elevate at? What belt is it at currently?
I think we're like a good purple belt.
Okay. That's what I was going to say. It has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be good purple, brown, or even black.
Yeah. I think we're really good purple belt, but I think we're a purple belt like 15 years ago, when there weren't a lot of brown belts and black belts.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because there's just not
as many people on the mats.
Not many people on the mats. And so I think that's kind of where we are. And we try to stay under the radar for a number of years, and now we're not under the radar anymore.
Yeah.
Now we're here, we're showing up at tournaments, we're competing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You hear everybody fear mongering about AI.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take all the jobs, and it's going to do this. And universal income, and we're all going to be slaves to robots, and nobody's industry is safe. But it sounds like you've just, for lack of a better word, partnered with AI to be able to facilitate a better business model. What do you say to those people? Are you concerned with that at all, or is it?
Man, I go back and forth.
Okay.
So,
because didn't Elon say that we're all going to be slaves to robots at some point, or something like that?
Yeah. So I think a couple things. I think one, not to get, just a sidestep for a second. So I think there are some tools that we have to encourage companies to hire people and use less AI services, right? Only use the ones that really matter. And that's through taxes. Okay. So like, for instance, I'm not a big tax proponent, but people put taxes on things to deter people from doing it. Right. Mm-hmm. So that's the idea. So we should in my world, get rid of the employment tax for humans and put on a tax for AI. So if you're a company and you want to use these AI services, then there should be a tax there. Tax both the AI company and the company that's doing it, and get rid of that employment tax that's 12 or 15% for the team members. Because now you're going to outweigh like what do you want, right? So you can put some hurdles there to help. So to just start with that, I think there has to be like some regulation change, which would make every business owner, every employee happy, because they're taking home more money at the end of the day. And if the AI is coming in, you're going to collect revenue at the the state and federal level. And so I think there's that aspect. But I'll tell you our experience inside a company. So we started using AI in all aspects of our company. Well, 3 areas: sales, marketing, engineering. We started using it probably about a year and a half ago, and then we've steadily just increased it, not by like any mandate, just because the teams find the tools extremely helpful. And what's nuts about it is our engineering team thinks it's probably doubled their efficiency and productivity in that time by getting rid of tasks that they hated to do. Mm-hmm. So just like we talked about the mechanic in the field that's went through manuals, our team doesn't want to go find bugs. They want to go look at, syntax errors on their code. They want to be being creative and developing cool stuff. So the AI tools we use does that very well, right? So it's freeing them up to be creative and problem solving and doing stuff with software. Mm-hmm. That was the first step. Now it's helping them build the software. Now they can actually just talk to it in English and say, we want to build this thing. So it's really accelerating development. So that's a little scary because that means like new engineers are going to have a really hard time finding jobs because I think that entry level engineering is like pretty much gone.
How do you go from entry level to like an advanced level if there's no space to be the entry level guy?
So what that's done now is it's slowed down our hiring because our team's becoming so efficient that we're looking at hiring like headcount for the next year, and it's probably 50% of what we thought 12 months ago.
Wow.
on engineering. Sales is still sales and an application engineer in the field that people know how to do stuff, high demand, super high demand. So I'm not too worried about that aspect. But what I think is going to happen is all of those entry level white collar jobs are going to be really hard to get because these AI tools are getting so good so fast that we've talked about reskilling people. Manufacturing has 5 million open positions right now for people. 5 million.
Okay.
North America.
Okay. So save the AI's taking all the jobs argument.
Yeah. There are
people just don't want to do it.
People don't want to do it. And so now these jobs, and then we have 500,000 field service techs retiring over the next decade. So we're going to have more people retiring. So there's going to have to be a reskill. But if you're a software engineer at Microsoft and you got laid off in the last 12 months, I know super, super smart folks from Microsoft that have not found jobs because they think their pay's up here in software and it's not. But you know what? They could probably get that same type of pay, but they might have to move to Ohio.
Yeah.
And what people kind of forget is
that Ohio sucks.
Ohio does suck. But we used to transport for jobs all the time in previous generations. We've got really comfortable in the current generation of not having to do that.
Bro, even I do that. Like, to get a job as a U.S. Marshal.
Yep.
And it's like, hey, if you accept this job offer, it comes with an understanding that it's needs of the agency and you get stationed wherever we want you. It's almost like going back into the military.
Yep. Absolutely. And so I think, so there are folks like us, there's folks in the manufacturing industry currently that get that. It's the people that work for Microsoft and Amazon. They've had very cushy for a very long time.
Well, in Washington, outside of the tyrannical government, is a very awesome place to live.
That's the other problem. You have to go to Ohio.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
I guess if they liked wrestling, that could be good.
Yeah. For sure. Get their kids into a wrestling program. So I do think it's going to disrupt a lot of entry level. I think it's actually going to disrupt a lot of management positions, like middle management that don't do anything. If you're a good manager, so you're just talking about the bottom 50%, let's just say.
So don't be that person.
Don't be that person.
Yeah, make sure you're not the bottom 50%.
I feel like our community, your listeners, like they're not the bottom 50%.
Yeah.
Right? But the bottom 50% have to figure it out. They probably have to get retrained.
Well, most of my professional experience is in some type of government position.
Yeah.
And bro, I'm not exaggerating when I honestly think you could cut the entire government workforce, both like local, state, and federal, by 50% and not miss one person.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's a social net, right?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, the government's the biggest employer on planet Earth, right?
Yep.
And I was wondering though, there's so many people that are just not productive people. And to tell you the truth, is it even their fault? You can go to work and not do anything and still collect all your benefits, your pay, and your retirement.
It's the company's fault. Yeah.
And is that seen in corporate America too?
All the time.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Because I was used to say,
look at Boeing. They call it like the lazy bee, right? So like you get
Boeing is basically a government organization at
for
this
sure.
point.
But you got guys on our team that they like. We were talking to one last night. We're like they have a path. Like we have multiple people on our team that they're going to excel their careers inside Boeing. I know other people in my world that they're just going to coast through Boeing.
Yeah, bro, a family member of mine, I'm not going to name him, but he just bitches about Boeing on social media all the time, and he works for Boeing.
So crazy.
And it's like, bro, like, you're really going to complain about the place that you're choosing to be?
Yeah.
That doesn't say anything about the company. It says a lot about you.
Yeah. That's a lot of your life, right?
That's crazy,
That's
man.
a third of your life, probably more than that. Probably a third of your life, of your waking hours, you're at a place that you're complaining about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you're gonna have the disruption there.
It's interesting because, I mean, you're fully saying like AI has the potential to impact a lot of positions.
So I've talked to some folks inside some of the publicly traded tech companies. And I think you're going to see another 15 to 20% over the next 12 months of them just shedding jobs of software engineers.
You want to drop any picks on those publicly traded companies like Newsom does?
I think Microsoft will be one for sure.
Yeah.
I think Microsoft will be one. I don't think AWS will, because Amazon's okay with heavily investing in areas, but I think Microsoft for sure. I think Oracle for sure. But then my buddy runs a division at Anduril, which is the big military AI. You know, they do like headsets and they do the gear and everything. His spend 6 months ago, so way more now, is $1 million a month on AWS AI. $1 million a month for his department, right? Mm-hmm. He says this will be the year of like shedding engineering development jobs, but then have to rehire people to clean up all the crappy code that AI's built.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so he thinks what's going to happen is like, and those people are going to have to they actually have to reskill themselves into software, but he sees a lot of crappy, sloppy tech debt AI code. And it's really fun right now because you're kind of optimizing the low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
But as soon as that starts to go up into more complex systems, you're going to see a lot of tech debt. And AWS just had this, I think yesterday, where they had a company wide like emergency email, because some AI program they used created a unplanned downtime of AWS servers, and it did something it wasn't supposed. I haven't read the whole article, but it's been like
Sounds
all over
like
my feeds.
self-awareness.
Yeah, for sure. And so I think it is going to come in waves, but we're going to see a shift. I mean,
Well, I also think people always want to find something to be fearful of.
all the time.
And so it's like, oh, this could happen, that could happen. But you know what? Probably like when Henry Ford made the Model T, there was probably people that made horseshoes for a living. It's like, This is going to ruin my family's entire legacy.
Yep.
And so it's like, as technology improves, old technology is going to become obsolete. Welcome to being a human being.
Yeah. I think
and that's going to continue to happen until the world explodes or we eat each other. Or just
Well, I think there's a couple truths too, though. So I think one truth is it's going to happen faster than it's ever happened before.
Of course.
So right. So compare that.
Well, bro, it's already happening.
Happening so fast.
I mean, when we were little boys is when the Nintendo came out.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying, dude?
Duck Hunter.
Duck Hunt.
Yeah. They didn't even allow you to save your score yet. Like write it down and put it on the fridge. Right. So like there's no memory to save your score. But we have also access to capital and markets that we never have before. Mm-hmm. So like you think about Jeremy Newsom stuff and you think those things, right? Like 20, 30 years ago, people couldn't freely go out there and create additional income and wealth based on all these capital markets.
Dude, I spend 3 to 6 hours a week with Newsom.
Yeah.
And one thing he says all the time is, the world's ending because of AI. Oh no. Or you can get rich with AI
100%.
by actually doing less work.
Yeah.
And it's like, it just makes you realize, like, regardless of what ends up happening, human beings have one of two options: be stuck in the past or fucking shift and start fucking figuring out something new.
Yeah. It's like the guy from the book that got paralyzed.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're just going to sit there, or are you going to like still,
you know, one thing Newsom said to me this week that I found very fascinating. It'd be interesting to get your perspective on it. Because, you know, he sold insurance for a long time, like when he was a kid, right?
Yeah.
Like early 20s. And he goes, one thing I realized about sales that worked for me is, he goes, it's less, you don't want to think about sales as trying to sell something.
Yeah.
He goes, sales is just educating people.
100%.
And he goes, I realized, because he'd have to call people to try and get them to either buy insurance, or if they currently had insurance, update their policy. And he goes, I realized, like, if you literally just call people and say, hey, this is your current plan, And if you can give me a couple minutes, I just want to educate you about your plan.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't really understand the plan that they bought. And I just want to help you understand it. And if it makes sense to shift it and make it in a larger capacity or even a smaller capacity, I don't really care. I just want to educate you.
Yeah.
And he goes, as soon as I shifted to educating instead of trying to sell, he goes, I became one of the top sellers.
Yeah. Yeah. So like with our company, we always say that you're buying the technology partnership. You're not buying the technology. So we look at the company profile and we have an ideal customer criteria that has a number of items in it. The most important item in it is the people. Like, does the leadership believe in what they want to do? Do they have a budget? Do they have people that are going to be able to manage and run this, for example, right? And then for us, we have to go educate them on what we do and make sure it's solving the problem they're trying to solve, because they're trying to solve a different problem and we're trying to sell them on our solution because they're close, but not exactly it.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be successful.
So, I mean, we already talked about the snowball effect, because now when either you reach out to someone or you're having some type of like event and people come up to your booth, they already understand what this is inside of the industry.
Yeah.
What was it like? I mean, were you literally just cold calling companies and be like, hey,
Man,
can I talk to you about something?
we have these PowerPoints, and these PowerPoints, we had to educate people on what the technology was and like what it could do. And then like often the technology could solve a lot of different problems. So we're trying to figure out like, where was the problem inside the organization? Was it on supply chain? Was it on service? Was it on warranty? Because data can solve a lot of these things. And so luckily for us, what happened was the acceleration of technology being deployed on the machines made the service problem a real big issue, right? So we're able to dial in. So at the beginning, it was evangelizing. It was educating. It was like all these things where so crazy. And we would have to find like super early adapters, like really early adapters to figure it out. But that's okay though, because you got to work with really like-minded people. So laws of attraction are kind of attracted you to them. And we'd always say, oh, this would be a great target customer. But is it just because they're the biggest customer, just because they do these things? If they don't believe in this and they don't want to figure this out and they don't want to go through the mud, the blood, and the beer, then they're probably not a good customer 10 years ago. Right. So that changes and evolves. Now it's like, to your point, we have our booth, we had, I gave 2 like talking events at the show. We were in our booth. We were also in Bosch's booth. Right. And so like we were prominently displayed inside there as well. So that whole, and now like you said, like, it's not just me. It's like there were meetings that were being had in partners booths with presidents of OEM companies that I was not invited to. Like, our team has it. It's their relationships. They forged those relationships.
Yeah, who's this Adam guy?
I would just add noise, right?
Yeah.
Like I would take away from what they're trying to do, and then I would just get an update from them later.
Well, bro, that's leadership, man.
And they're awesome.
Yeah,
our team's so
if your
good.
people are doing their thing, let them do their thing.
Yeah, and so it's gone from like me being an evangelist and having to talk about this inside the industry and people knowing me to like, oh, here's Elevate. Oh, here are our people. And there are people end up working for Elevate. And so it's a whole different arena now.
And the more people that you get that believe in the mission that you can trust and go hands off with and just like have a decentralized command, it gives you more time to do jiu-jitsu.
Yes. and then the other thing that's like I'm super proud of is these publicly traded companies. So we have 2 different products, 2 different ways to market, if you will. We sell to an OEM that puts us on their machines and they service it. Then we have massive supplier companies that take our product, they completely white label it with all their own branding, and then they sell it through their sales channels to get into their types of equipment.
Okay.
So those companies are publicly traded. So they have to come do massive audits on us. They have to vet out our software. They have to do all this stuff. Somewhere at a high enough level inside the corporation, someone has to stamp that they're going to work with us. So people are putting a career chip on the table, and we have several of those companies now that have done that. So this is the really thing that makes me super proud is again, they're betting on the technology partnership, and that technology partnership is all the DNA of all of our team members to make that happen, because it's not me, right? Like I'm a part of it.
Yeah.
But like they're betting on all of Elevate, right? And these are,
Well, they have to.
yeah, these are like $11 billion, market cap companies, $90 billion companies. Like that's incredible. So that's what makes me super proud is we're going to have this be part of this next chapter of manufacturing. And we're going to, I believe we're going to make massive impacts, not just for our partners, but our partners out there, which is pretty rad.
I'm assuming you have a handful of like ride or dies that have been with you through all of the seasons of Elevate.
Yeah.
What are, for those that do not train?
Yeah.
Do they think you're nuts, or do they see like this new version of you like, oh?
I think it's both. Yeah. I think it's both. I think
they're like, wait, Adam, we're building this multi-million-dollar company, and you put pajamas on and sweat with men every single night.
Yeah. They think it's that part of it. They like to make fun. They like to tease, like to do everything. But at the same point,
they never felt your side control.
Yeah, for sure.
So let me put you in north south, and if they're wearing a suit, you can still grab under the armpits like you like to do and pin their shoulders down.
Dude, I'm geeking out on that north south like so much right now. Like it's anyways, I'm completely geeking out on that.
We could talk about that next, because it's fascinating. But regardless of like if they're playing around with you or if they think it's silly or whatever, until you feel it, you don't understand it.
Yeah. And so actually we have some guys on our team where like their daughters and sons are starting to do like jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
So they're getting involved in it. They haven't done it yet. They say they're going to do it, right? And I'm like, hey, I should do it for these reasons.
Is anyone local to here? Because you're kind of all over the place, huh?
No, these guys are out of Oklahoma and Dallas.
Yeah.
Everyone in our team is basically like Linwood down over to Linwood to Bellevue to Seattle, because our offices are in Fremont.
Which makes this place not feasible.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, because every once in a while I'll get someone from like Linwood, Shoreline, Seattle, and I love this. I love the vibe. I'm signing up, and I always caution them. I'm like, dude, it's cool that you like the vibe and you want to sign up, but
I-5
northbound, northbound I-5, I don't think this has a lot of longevity to it.
Yeah, it's not going to work. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, we got, the cool thing is what I've noticed about our team members is it's not jiu-jitsu, but they're all passionate about things. So like, we have an engineer down in Oregon, and he was always teaching himself like he's a wicked smart engineer. He's been with us since day one, and he remodeled his house. So to remodel his house, he learned how to become a plumber and electrician, and he built a second story with his dad, like in his house, right? He did the lemon race. Have you ever heard of this race down in Oregon? So like the Le Mans race in Europe, where it's a 24-hour race with all these high performance cars. The lemon race is you can spend $600 on a car.
Saying, a piece of shit car.
Shit car, $600, and it's how many laps you can get in 24 hours.
You know who could probably go win that? Drew.
Yeah, Drew and Michael would get along so well.
Yeah,
and so because it's labor in parts, he took a community college class at night to learn how to weld. So he could weld all of his roll bars and stuff in his car. And that's an example. We have people that are like super into golf. We have people that are super into skiing and mountain biking. So what's interesting is I found that the common theme is that people are super into their church. People are super into their kids' sports. They have
passionate people.
They have passionate people. Yeah. We don't have anyone on our team that's not passionate about something outside of Elevate. So that's
awesome, man.
Yes.
Because then it's easy to keep encouraging that culture.
Yeah.
And I bet and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not from this world, but I would imagine that there are some of these big corporations that just want to like suck people's souls dry.
For sure.
And it's like, no, like go invest in your own passions.
Well, and naturally, if you're really passionate about software development programming, it's easy to sit there with your computer terminal at night, right? Like it's easy to get sucked into that because that's what you love.
Yeah.
And they all love that, but every single one of them loves something else outside of it, which is freaking rad.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's pretty cool. And that's not by design. Like, it's not part of our interview process. I think it's just kind of, we've attracted those types of people.
Yeah. Not to take it too political unless you want to.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck. But are you seeing the war that's just kicking off having any impact on the manufacturing side of things?
Yeah, to a bit, for sure. I think the bigger issue right now is the AI. So we have all this AI that's going on. To service AI and to continue to grow, you have to build data centers, you have to build all these computers and everything. And that creates a lot of memory. That memory chips that they're taking are in everyday things that we all use. So they're in display screens that go into your boats and your tractors. They're in memory that goes into your connectivity hardware that goes on the machine. So that supply chain is becoming very tricky right now because NVIDIA can come in, or a company can come in and buy all the NVIDIA chips. They can buy all the AMD chips or whatever the case is for AI data centers. So now the hardware suppliers that only built 200,000 of these things or 2 million are competing with those major players. And so that supply chain is getting really, really complex right now. So I think that is a bigger threat currently right now than the war, because I think that the war, I think a lot of people believe it's going to be an issue, but it's not going to be something that they have to figure out for the next 5 years. I think a lot of people think that our engagement's going to be a lot less than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the chip problem's a real problem because now the chip problem's not slowing down.
Yeah.
So now people are thinking, oh, we have to do hardware designs, recertifications, all these different stuff, different lot numbers, like you name it. And so that's a bigger issue on the supply chain.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this goes because we're seeing history repeat itself with mission accomplished, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Trump needs to go out on the aircraft carrier and declare victory.
Yeah.
Because, bro, this could, who fucking knows? This could be something that we scale down in the next week and just like it was what it was. Or it could get drawn out into some. Iran is not Iraq. It's not Afghanistan.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
They have a technology that neither of those countries had.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. We'll see where it goes. But I think this has the potential to be a bigger problem than, I don't know. I just see a lot of people on the internet. It's like, fuck around and find out America. And it's like, dude, it's not.
I think it can be both.
It's
like
time to,
both can be true, right? Like, so I think about this all the time. I'm like, in the last 4 or 5 days, like, yes, we should not be doing this. And yes, we should be doing this because there are, go back at there's so many other things that we should be focusing our energy and time on. Right. Like, we can go all the way from the Epstein files, like how much time and energy should be, spent to release all that and just start stringing people up.
Yeah. And
then also I was watching a movie the other night. Did we ever fix the water problem in Flint, Michigan?
Yeah. Well, bro, that's my thing.
I don't know if we ever fixed that. I'm like,
well, and this is why I'm frustrated with the administration.
Yeah.
No one can give a clear answer on what the objective is in Iran.
Yeah.
We're freeing the Iranian people. It's regime change. And then, they were just talking about the other day, this is to further America's interests.
For sure.
Well, in what?
Well,
what are we there for? What's the objective? And it sounds like what they're portraying to the public is regime change. I don't need my fucking tax dollars funding another regime change and call me fucking crazy. We don't have a good track record on regime changes.
Yeah.
And dude, and then they're even saying well, we need a complete and full surrender. And then we need to implement the right leadership. And they're like, oh, that guy's not going to work. And they killed the guy.
Crazy.
That was appointed. And now it was the Ayatollah's son.
Yeah.
Right. And
but it's the third or fourth.
And they literally said, yeah, no, you're not going to work.
Yeah.
Kill him.
Yeah.
And bro, now Israel bombed the oil fields and now the Iranian people are even upset. I saw people writing. And here's the thing that I am very aware of. Everything you read and consume, either on social media or the news, is through a lens of propaganda.
Yeah, it has an agenda.
So who fucking knows what's true and what's not true? But supposedly these are Iranian people saying, hey, we're grateful that you overthrew a dictator, but how do you expect us to rebuild our country when you're destroying our most powerful infrastructure and resources?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, bro.
Well, also, so yeah, okay. So just to dive into that a bit. So I agree with you. I think there's a larger play with how it protects us with China, I want to say, or maybe not it protects us, maybe adjusts the leverage a bit with China, right? I do think that Iran having like nuclear weapons or a path to nuclear weapons is not a good path.
Yeah, but bro, they've been fucking saying that to us since the 80s.
Yeah, no shit. That's another problem.
Netanyahu, there's a video going around of Netanyahu saying Iran is something like 30 days away from obtaining a nuke, and we have to stop them since the 80s.
Yeah.
And it's like literally every fucking year.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? Like how much, yeah, for sure. And then,
that's what I'm saying. I don't believe anything these people say anymore.
And again, I'm always wondering, like, what's the opportunity cost, right? Like, where can those resources be spent elsewhere? And again, like, I'm watching this movie and it's based in Flint, Michigan. I was like, wait, did we ever fix that? Like, I don't remember like any campaign talking about fixing Flint, Michigan.
Well, bro, it's like I said the other day. You're going to have a really hard time getting other people's houses in order when your house isn't in order.
Yeah.
And you can take your politics aside. I think we should all unanimously be able to agree America, i.e. our house, is not in order.
Yeah.
We're not. Money is being hemorrhaged at a rate that is astronomical.
Crazy.
I mean, like literally, our fucking governor said yesterday, he's like, you know what? And it was all theater that I don't support an income tax. I'm going to have to see some things change before I support an income tax. What changed? We're going to feed elementary school students with this. And that motherfucker said yesterday, listen, only 0.5% of Americans or of Washingtonians are going to be subjected to this tax. Okay. Well, I don't understand how that gives you any type of validity saying that a small percentage of people, he goes, only 0.5% of Washingtonians are going to be affected by this. But all Washingtonian children are now going to be able to eat for free. And you know what that reads? That's literally saying we're taking from the rich and we're giving to the poor.
It's crazy.
That's what we're going to do.
Well, also remember that when we put the HOV lanes, the toll lanes on 405, they're never supposed to go above $10.
And now they're like 14, 16, 17.
Yeah. So anytime you introduce a tax, good luck in a democratic state pulling that tax back.
Well, and they tried to put legislation in there. There's two pieces of legislation that the Republicans wanted the verbiage in that it will not get lowered.
Yeah.
And that was rejected. And then also that the people can't take this to a vote.
It's crazy.
What the fuck does that mean?
It's Washington's going to, so here's
you're going to have to move at some point.
100%. I'm already looking at places in the other state because I have to get more days over there than here. But because I'm not going to give Washington 10% of the sale of my company for being the benefit of me taking a risk to start the company here.
Well, bro, I say that all the time. They want to tax people that take massive risks.
Yeah.
Right? But you get nothing when you fail.
Also, if they, so I think what they're going to do, I think there's the policy that's been floated in California is they want to tax a percentage of your wealth every year. But what happens if my business goes down 20% next year? Do I get a
dividend?
Yeah. Do I get to take forward losses? There's never let you do that. So like, it's not like it's a liquid asset, like you're selling stock and then you can just, it's the most ridiculous thing.
But even stock though.
Yeah.
Because like we're moving into this world and my wife is becoming immersed in it. She's becoming very good at it. And, I mean, a perfect example, she took a big loss on Hims.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
Yeah. The nutrition supplement.
Yeah. And it's like, that stock dropped dramatically like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And she had a big position with that company. And dude, we lost like 30 grand. Now it's unrealized gains, right? Yeah. But it's still, okay, our positions went down by $30,000 6 months ago. We don't get anything for that. We don't get it. They don't say, hey, you know what? You lost a bunch of money. So now we're going to, exactly what you say, give you a stipend or a dividend or even a write-off, right? Nothing. But if it went up 30K, give us some of your money.
It's nuts.
And it's a literal criminal organization. And I mean,
well, not to mention,
that's what it is.
The other thing with like stocks is like you're providing capital to companies to operate their companies to become more wealthier, which makes everyone more wealthier because 80%, 90% of the country is in the working adults are in the market. Without the capital flowing in and out, there's always winners and losers. If you start taxing it, you're just taking capital away from that environment now, right? So,
well, and bro, the way that you know that it's criminal is that they continue to have to seek out new ways to tax everything.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're spending more than they're receiving.
Yep.
And it's like, I don't care if you run Elevate, which is a multi-million-dollar company, or Electric Jiu Jitsu. If you spend more than you make, the company ceases to exist.
Yeah. You run into a freaking wall.
Period.
Yeah. Done.
And so when they're spending more than they're getting, and instead of like everybody likes to say like drain the swamp and cut spending, and it's like, no, that's literally what we have to do. It's a very simple concept. And you see how many government employees were like all fucking perturbed when Trump came in and wanted to just have Elon with Doge start looking at how spending's working.
Yeah.
That's it. Let's just assess how spending's working. These motherfuckers, you know, and you know why? It's the bottom 50% that you already talked about.
For sure.
They just want to sit there and collect a paycheck and not have to do anything. And even that being analyzed is offensive to them.
Yeah.
Like, dude, come and analyze me whenever the fuck you want.
Also, you know, Congress can make their own rules. So until that changes, they can protect themselves. They can show, I mean, it's so if we go back, so I do not like, I also think we're doing good things. I think we're doing really bad things. I get really frustrated we're not doing more things in areas. Like there's no excuse about the Epstein files. Like I don't like.
You know what else there's no excuse for? And I'm not going to attach your name to this, but I was watching a Ted Cruz interview this morning.
Yeah.
And he's saying like Israel and their safety and their like supporting what they need to do is my number one concern.
I don't even get that. Like I don't.
Well,
like,
do you know that AIPAC paid him $1.8 million last year?
No, I get that.
And the United States taxpayers paid him $174 last year. Bro, and on people, you can't even talk about that stuff without being an anti-Semite.
It's crazy.
And people want to start attaching all of these titles and making you out to be a bad person, a hateful person for simply saying, how about our senators and our congressmen that are being paid for with our tax dollars prioritize our interests? That's it.
Also,
can't say that anymore.
No, also like if you're incentivized for that, then you're not incentivized to figure out how to fix the education system because there's no like big time $1.8 million paychecks for you to come and figure out.
Yeah.
Right. How do we make the education system better? And so but we're also doing some really good things. Like the amount of fentanyl that's coming to our country is like way down.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so there are like things that are also have been good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The big, beautiful bill has actually a lot of good stuff in there for companies to help with growth. There are actually some really good things. Then there's this other stuff so I have to try not to follow a bunch of it.
Yeah. Right? But bro, have you ever heard the saying, it's like 100 attaboys will be overshadowed by like one fuck up?
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is my prediction, is that these fuck ups are so, I don't know if egregious is the right word, but the American people are not ready for another war.
No.
The American people are not ready for another war. If you were to take a poll, both on the right and the left, how many people want to go back into a war?
Yeah.
I bet it would be 80%, right? So both the right and the left aren't ready for another war. I think both the right and the left are ready for fucking transparency with the Epstein files and all this other stuff we're talking about.
Also, both the right and left are overwhelmingly in favor for voter ID laws.
Well, yeah. So
like,
but I think because the Trump administration is the administration that's in power right now, and people are so upset with the war and the Epstein files, I think those two things alone are going to cost Republicans midterms.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
And it's like, so are you motherfuckers that stupid, or are you just playing this dumb game where the pendulum swings back and forth?
They're playing.
They have to know.
They're playing the dumb game.
They have to know.
Yeah.
So does that mean Gavin Newsom's our next president? Because you guys,
I hope not. Man.
did you see him sitting down with those black dudes?
No.
He's like, he goes, hey, I'm like you guys. he literally said this. He goes, I'm like you guys. My SAT score was this. And I was like,
wait,
dude, what the fuck? Yeah, look that up afterwards.
Oh my God.
And it's like, did you really just say that, dude? That's like when Biden said, you don't vote for Biden, you ain't black.
Dude,
It's like you're playing to these people like you think they're dumb. That is not how to build an alliance. You don't fucking placate to people to build an alliance to them, dude.
Also, like, if you're going to pick a governor to run the country, which I think is a good idea in a lot of ways because they have to run a state.
Yeah, they got some experience.
Yeah, look at the success of that state. So, like, the reason why, like, Clinton was a really good Democratic candidate as the governor of Arkansas is he actually ran a pretty good state. And so that gave him a lot of credibility. If you look at California, that's probably the worst example of a. I think Yamaha just announced they're leaving there.
Bro, if he becomes the president, I mean, I already believe the whole system's just a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, I know.
But that guy is not capable. He couldn't run your company.
No.
He couldn't run my company.
No.
He can't run anything.
No.
And if he becomes a president, like, fuck, dude. But would you agree he's probably going to be their front runner?
For sure. Because
I don't think,
because he's actually pretty charismatic. Like if you put all the politics aside and you listen like not sound bites, but like longer form.
Yeah, but like guys like us can see the sleaziness.
That's the problem, right? So the problem is like, if I saw him at an event, would I want to go to dinner with that guy? No.
100%, bro.
But when you see him on a long form podcast with like
Sean Ryan.
It wasn't Sean Ryan. It was the liberal TV guy.
Bill Maher?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like, wow, he was just kind of like being one of the guys. And like, that's interesting.
It's because he's a chameleon, bro.
But if you're on that side,
yeah,
that's like that. You're gonna be like, oh, that's way better than AOC or way better or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he is. Well, here's the thing. He's not a dumb person.
No. And he comes from a pretty smart family.
Yeah, he's not a dumb person. I think AOC is literally a dumb human being.
For sure.
You know? So it's like, and I don't get why they start to get behind certain people. Like, how did they decide she's the person, right? But then you got like Fetterman, who had a stroke and his brain works now. Maybe he'll be the person.
Yeah. Dude, I like that. I like that guy. I like this guy more and more. I like, now he's wearing suits. He's showing up in suits. Yeah. Like he's talking.
I think we talked about him last podcast.
He's talking common sense. I'm like, all right, like this guy. Yeah, I like him more and more.
No, I've even thought about like for the first time in my life, me and Jenny are on a trajectory that has a potential to generate a lot of wealth.
That's awesome.
And I'm proud of that, man. And I was a fucking cop and a soldier my whole adult life. Neither one of those professions will ever take you to financial freedom, period.
And if they charge you 10% in the state of Washington, you know what that means? That's 10% less that you're probably give to charity or reinvest in the community.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like, or that's 10% less that I get to print and wipe my ass with. If I want to.
Yeah, but the problem is like that's not you.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying like
it's your money at the end of the day.
I shouldn't have to I shouldn't have to present a case about how no, I'm a generous person. I'm doing good. Like
I don't necessarily mean it has to be good. It could just mean that you keep on expanding your business, right? And then by expanding your business, you end up getting more members. You change the community more. You have more coaches. It doesn't matter if you don't invest any of that money or you don't give any of that money to charity. It's expanding the community, right?
And one thing that I'm seeing that's kind of gross in the comments of these threads talking about this issue is a lot of people are like, oh, suddenly everybody thinks they're going to be millionaires, huh? And it's like, that's a moot point, bro.
It's a moot point.
Like, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, if you make a little money or a lot of money, the fact that the government thinks they get to take more should be the issue.
Well, not to mention it's going to go from 1 million to 500.
like fucking overnight.
And it's not hard for people to make 500.
Those evil 500ers. Because that's about where we're at right now. And I'm fucking really proud of that. And you know what else I learned about making? We made like high fours last year.
Nice.
And I'm not afraid to talk about money because it shouldn't be a taboo subject. Of course not. Yeah. And I want people to hear this because it's important. You think 100K a year with benefits gives you like a comfortable life? Bro, I don't think we really started feeling free until you're at like 4, bro.
I was going to say probably between 3 and 4, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you go, oh.
And when I say free, I mean like literally last week I decided, hey, I'm going to go to Arizona.
Exactly.
I'm going to visit my mom and then I'm going to attend this event. And it's with Jeremy Newsom,
You control
right?
your time.
You control your time.
Yeah.
And you control what you get to do with that time. And if it means, hey, we're going out to dinner with these people, or we're going to fly to California, and a lot of it is and this is what people don't understand. A lot of my personal income goes to expanding things that build professional relationships.
Right. Yeah.
Like this thing in Arizona, I'm literally going down to do some jujitsu with a bunch of Jeremy and Keith's friends. Yeah. And bro, that builds the network. It opens opportunities and it connects you with people. And because I waited till last minute, the plane ticket was $750 or something, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because like flights to Phoenix or from Seattle are one of the cheapest.
Yeah.
Well, not if you wait till last minute. But regardless, what I'm saying is I've just now arrived at a place where I feel like, oh, okay, I have the autonomy to live how I want to live.
Yep. I think so. Okay. So people always say like, money's not the most important thing in the world. I say it's not, but it's right there with breathing. And what I mean by that is it buys you time, and time's the most important, and how you spend your time, right?
Yes.
And you have to be at one. I think it's one side of the spectrum or not. You either go complete minimalist and get your time back, which is awesome, right? So you're gonna make sacrifices to do that. I have a lot of friends that have done that, and they live in small homes. They do this stuff, and they value time.
Yeah.
Or you try to crush it to get your time, to spend your time with your family, your loved ones, and yourself how you want to.
Yeah.
And you don't feel guilty or stress about the dollars that you're using to spend that time.
Yep.
So to me, that is the...
Well, I always say, man, freedom, true freedom is living the life you want to live.
Yep.
So if you want to buy a yurt and live on the Arctic tundra, and there's that show Life Below Zero.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it? There's people that do that.
Yeah.
If that is what calls to your heart and you're passionate about that, you probably don't need a lot of money.
Yep.
If you want to sail the world in a catamaran like I do, it's $1 million boat. Yeah. Okay. So like, yeah, money doesn't buy you happiness, but it does build a path for you to pursue your passions. Yeah. Rowing to Hawaii, bro. And it's funny because people are like, oh, it must be nice, all that shit. It's like, as I make more money, I'm also spending more money.
Yep.
And
paying more taxes.
And putting more into the businesses and whatnot, right? So to buy that boat to row to Hawaii, I took out a fucking HELOC on my house. Yeah. Right? And so it's like, okay, you may, like, however you acquire, like Jeremy says all the time, most people have more access to wealth than they know. Yeah. And he always uses the your wife got abducted and now the ransom is this much. Can you come up with it? Yes or no? Right? And it's like, you can come up with a lot more money than you think you can.
Without a doubt.
You know, now is that taking loans? Is this that? That's how the game is played.
You still have access to capital though.
That's how the game is played. Everybody that's rich utilizes debt to get rich. Yeah. Period, right? But my whole point is, in order to pursue the things that you want to pursue, I've been wanting to cross an ocean for 15 years now.
That's awesome.
And I'm finally going to do it. Yeah. So if you want to pursue the things you want to pursue, it's going to take a certain amount of income.
Not only are you going to do it, but then I think you have 3 guys that are doing it with you that would not have done it if you weren't so committed. They would have. It's in their DNA, obviously, but they need the catalyst.
Yeah,
now they're all in.
Yeah, you got to put it. Yeah, someone has to be able to put it together, right?
And then I think it's going to lock a lot of inspiration on people doing their own adventures, whatever that means, right? But when you talk about money in terms of time and what you want to do and options, I was having dinner with this guy. He's in his 70s, and he's been diagnosed recently with Parkinson's, and it's mild case yet, right? But he retired, sold his company, wealthy, the whole thing.
Talk to him about ibogaine.
Ibogaine, okay.
I'll talk to you offline.
Yeah, yeah, and he loves to boat. He used to have a boat, sold it, moved. He's going to buy a boat now. He's going to take the boat. He's going to go to the Pacific Northwest. He's going to take it down to San Diego. And I'm in dinner, and this dude is super wealthy and just so casual, not missing a beat. I go, oh, it's awesome. Are you going to captain the boat down there, drive that? He goes, oh, no, I'm just going to ship it. I'm like, oh, okay. He goes, it's like 30 grand. So like, why not? I'm like, that's different. Like, okay, if you're just going to write a $30,000 check to ship your boat from Washington to San Diego, then go pick it up in San Diego, hang out there for a bit, and then ship it for another 30 grand to the Carolinas. I'm like, that's okay. That's, yeah. He talked about it. He talked about it like I was going to go buy a $500 whatever.
Yeah.
It was just like, he wasn't doing it to show off. He just literally naturally said it. And you're like, oh, that's what 30 grand means to him.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
No, it is crazy.
It's crazy. And you go, but
and some people, 100 grand is like getting a cup of coffee at Starbucks. That's reality.
Yeah. That's what it sounded like to this guy, right? And I was like, but he's 72, 73, and he gave up time. And now he has this like mortality thing going in. He's got a tremendous amount of wealth. And that's no big deal to him. Mm-hmm. And he's also one of the most generous people I've ever met in my life.
Well, I think it's important to highlight, like, because people always say, you know, on your deathbed, no one ever said they wish they worked more overtime shifts, right? Yeah. But I bet they might say, I wish I sailed around the world.
Yeah.
Or I wish I climbed Mount Everest.
Yep.
Or I wish I did this with my children. Or I wish me and my wife went to fucking Italy or whatever. Okay, all that stuff requires a certain amount of wealth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You have to, it's options.
Well, and Andy Frisella talks about it all the time. He's like, the demonization of becoming wealthy is an intentional plan to keep you small.
Yeah.
Like since when is becoming wealthy something that anybody should look at and be like, oh, that's fucked up. You're a bad person. Like, dude, it's a fabrication to keep us small.
Imagine if everyone was wealthy and they could donate and fund to the charities and the organizations they cared about.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, think about that.
Think about that.
Well, and that's another thing that Newsom talks about all the time. He goes, there's enough money moving around the market. He goes, everybody listening to this podcast right now and all of your friends and all of your family could become rich.
Without a doubt.
Everybody.
Without a doubt.
They're like, Tesla moves something like 100 billion a day.
It's so crazy.
And he even says, he's like, dude, if I can pick up a crumb that fell off of Tesla's trading, I will be, you know, you can become fucking more wealthy than you ever thought imaginable.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, man. People enjoy keeping others small.
Yep.
And then people don't want to believe. It's easier to believe like, oh, I grew up poor and my family's poor and this is who we are. Yep. Well, if that's the story you tell yourself, then 100% that's going to be who you are.
Yeah. People, I'd say there's a portion of people that don't want the change. They want to complain about the situation, but they don't necessarily want to change. And unfortunately, a lot of employers know that. And so therefore they take advantage of that. And I think it's harder at smaller companies because you personally know the people, but large companies, they know they can put you through a lot of shit before you have to make that change.
Yep. I mean, fuck, bro. What do you think I got hired on as annual salary as a deputy U.S. Marshal?
I bet you was 70 to 75.
You ready for this, bro?
Yeah.
42. 42.
Crazy.
42, bro.
What was that, 20 years ago?
That was 2011.
Okay, so 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I can see that.
In Los Angeles.
So 72 now, probably.
Probably around there, right?
Yeah, in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. But still, my point is, it's like, you're a deputy U.S. Marshal. You're this thing. You're elite. Yeah. You're the spearhead of law enforcement. There's like this persona that they build around it.
Yeah.
About how special you are, how elite you are. And by the way, when you're out there kicking doors and fucking transporting fugitives and sitting in court all day and doing all this shit, you still make a low enough amount of money that you fucking qualify for food stamps.
So fucking crazy. It's so crazy.
And it's the same thing. It's like our Delta Force operators, our Navy SEALs, our Army Rangers, you get pennies, bro.
Crazy.
You know?
Yeah. I don't even know what to say about that. But I'm wired different. I'm like you. Like, I want to build generational wealth, but I also am not chasing like the money of it. Like, it just happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could probably make other decisions that would be more beneficial at times, but I'm willing to invest long term to grow the company and do things where I don't know what the payout will be, but it'll be good enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I remember I talked to you about it a month or two ago. I said, when you sell your company and cash out and you walk away with a absolutely massive amount of cash,
Yeah.
you're not going to be done. And you go, I'll probably build a new company.
Yeah, I'll do something.
I'll probably build a new company.
Yeah, for sure. Because I don't know.
Because that's how you're wired.
Yeah. I enjoy it too much. I enjoy the people too much, you know?
Yeah. Well, we're at 2 hours, it's getting close to wrapping it up. But
crazy.
we forgot to talk about something very important. And that is your new North-South hub.
Yeah.
That you are falling in love with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to tell you why I love North-South and see if you're finding the same type of, because people love jiu-jitsu talk. We have to handle some jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with a Scott Stillwell or a Tyler, people that have really, really great guard recovery, dude, side control, even mount, getting that knee through,
It's a problem.
it's not very far away.
Yeah.
Even if you have good pressure, even if you're in control, you're always a moment of a miscalculation away of a hook being inserted, and now you're tangled back up. North-south, as long as you keep your base very low and your hips far away, because those guys that can invert,
Yeah.
they can just fold themselves in half, and they can get their feet on you,
sure.
right? But if they can't get their feet under you, North-south is the hub that I have found, A, can control big, strong guys, and B, can control small, fast, wiry guys, all in the same hub.
Yep. That's spot on. And what's funny is I found this hub because of the Portland tournament where I hurt my shoulder heading into the tournament, and then the tournament, and then I had to figure out, I had to kind of grapple with one arm for a bit. And so I was working, it was harder to grapple and get submissions in side control, but I was learning it. But as soon as I went to North-South, all of a sudden I didn't necessarily need my right arm as much.
Oh, I see.
Right, because I could bring the lapel under. I could control my overhookers on my left. I could move it around in areas where it wasn't hurting my.
And the overhook side is. Are you saying your right shoulder was hurt?
Yeah, so I'm opposite overhook than you.
Okay, so you're left overhook.
I go left overhook.
Got it.
And to your point, it provides a tremendous amount of control. It provides a lot of entries into, 3 or 4 or 5 different types of submissions. It works for big guys. It works for small guys. I can get back to side control very easily. I can get into mount if I need to. Like,
it feeds the Kimura hub perfectly.
Feeds the Kimura hub perfectly. There's a lot of entries into chokes, right?
And the thing I love about North-South chokes is that if you go for them and you lose it,
you're fine.
Positionally, nothing changes.
Nothing changes.
A lot of attacks from side control and mount, when you commit to the submission, it does disrupt your base.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to geek out on that. So, you always say you have to find like where your hubs are, right? And like through my progression, obviously with the big guy, I started in side control and I worked the Kimura hub and the side control. Then I played around with mount after Lovato. And now I found myself into North-South. But my side control is still very, very good. So I'll hang out there for a bit, right? Depending on who I'm with, and I'll put some pressure on them, and I'll attack submissions, and I'll move to North-South, and maybe I'll go back to side control. And so I think I'm kind of putting together a pretty good system through here. It's very deliberate now. Like I can deliberately go through things. I can go through it with patience and with pressure and with try to take away as much space as I can. And that's really nice. Yeah. So it's like, I'm trying to play with it with all different types of people in our gym, at other gyms, upper belts, because I'm trying to figure out where the weaknesses are. And it's a great position.
Well, the other thing that I love about North-South, because like, as you know, I've fallen in love with Mother's Milk.
Yeah. And
if you can fucking cover people's faces, that changes their energy.
For sure.
North-South, just by the dynamics of the position, they're basically in a reverse Mother's Milk.
Yeah.
Like side control, bro, I'll be in side control all day. A really gnarly crossface can start to be like very uncomfortable,
but
right?
How often do you do that to team members?
That's what I'm saying, right? And so it's like, okay, he got past my guard. I'm okay.
Yeah.
But when they start to move into mount and mother's milk or north south and cover your face and it's hot and now you ever, of course you feel this. You feel like you're breathing, but the air's hot and it doesn't feel like it has as much oxygen.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think I can breathe, but I still feel like I'm suffocating.
Yep.
What is going on?
And the other thing too, I think it's weird for the people on bottom that you're behind them.
Yes.
You're right. So you're inverted behind them with all this pressure and you can attack necks and they're controlling here. And then at some point you can isolate an arm. And when you isolate that arm now and you have that pressure and maybe have a grip across their neck and that arm's isolated, that's a very vulnerable position to be in because now I have a lot of either transitions or other chokes I can go into. Yeah, so I'm having a lot of fun.
The bread cutter, bro.
Bread cutter and the Ezekiel. So if I'm
I know you were telling me about the Ezekiel, and I got long arms, so I should be able to hit it, but I never go for that from north south.
So there's two entries into it. So you have the north south Ezekiel, right? So I'm coming. So if they're fighting off my arm here, and I go this underneath and then get under, I can get that Ezekiel.
You keep the shoulder controlled though, right? Or is it just the head under there?
So I keep the left shoulder control, and then my right arm comes in, and I start to hunt till I get cloth.
I see.
And then this,
and then it comes out.
It comes out and it goes underneath.
Because I feel like if you only had the neck, that their hips would start to be able to find some freedom.
But their spine is against the ground, so they can't.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And I've got submissions on some pretty good guys with that. And then the other Ezekiel is if I'm moving north-south and I start to isolate that arm, their left arm on the ground, and I have that thumb in, now all I have to do is just pop right through and get that thumb in Ezekiel. And that's there like all the time.
Dude, I fucking love it.
This is going to be, I feel like I'm going to get, I want to get to the point where it's very methodical from passing the guard to the north-south. And if I don't get the submission in a round, then I feel like I failed. Because I think that it's getting to a point now where I'm learning enough of the little details and entries that it should become more and more precise. And so I'm excited for it.
Are you struggling with any aspect of passing guard? You're passing everybody now, huh?
Yeah. I'm not struggling a bunch right now. I've spent a bunch of time on passing guards, either through the weave pass or the Lovato pass or whatever the case is. So
do you ever control like side control?
Yeah.
Controlling near hip. You ever control near hip?
On when I pass in the guard?
Well, once you're passed.
All the time.
Okay.
Yep.
That near hip control also works very well from north south sometimes.
Oh, interesting.
And now it's not really the near hip because there's
right
an equal distance, but people tend to play guard on most guard players will play guard right hip down. So a lot of times if I'm struggling, I'll still control the pocket of the right hip.
Yeah.
And it shuts down their movement too.
Yeah, I mean, for guard passing, I've really been trying to get reps in with Stillwell and Tyler and like Will, because they all three of them play like incredible guards, and they're all really. So I'm learning stuff from them all the time.
You saw me show a couple guys the deadlift pass last week?
Yeah.
Have you tried that yet?
No, but I'm going to for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do.
I showed it to Potts, and people are like, "Why did you show him that?" But I said, "Because he CrossFits all the time."
But I'm purposely trying to get in people's guard right now to work on passing guard. Mm-hmm. So I'm not trying to stay like in an open guard area because I want to get.
You want to get tangled up. You want to dissect it.
Yeah, I want to get tangled because if I'm tangled with Stillwell, or Tyler, but like with Stillwell, like he is attacking me in so many different ways. Mm-hmm. It's awesome because it's like I don't get that, right? Like he is doing, and then same with Tyler. Like Tyler plays a really great half guard, and last night we had this awesome round where we were switching positions, right? So like he was trying to get into coyote or like a deep half, and then I'm trying to cross face his spine back, and then I'm trying to run the Lovato, and he's trying to get the underhook, and it's so good because I have these guys that are so comfortable in that position that are obviously very high level, very strong, right? And I'm learning, like it's just helping expose stuff and help me learn stuff. That's like, this is awesome.
You remember when you said to me, you said, hey, after the row, if I have any success against your guard, what do you say, for the first month that you're home?
I said 3 months.
Oh, 3 months.
I think so.
3 months. You said if I have any success against your guard in the first 3 months that you're home, I'm not going to really consider that a victory.
Yeah.
And then you remember what I said?
No,
you're not going to have any success.
I know for sure. but actually, that's a great. So this is a great point. So I was talking to somebody about this last night. Is I hear people.
I might eat those words, but I have to say that, and I have to believe it.
Well, it's funny because I was talking to one of our guys last night, and I hear people sometimes saying, "Hey, I caught so and so. I caught so and so." And when I try to, this goes back to our original way that we started this podcast about putting the ego aside. Is you have to recognize where that person is at this time in their jiu-jitsu. So if the state champion wrestler took 3 months off and he comes back on the mats and you take it to him a bit, he's still the state champion. He's just rusty.
Yeah.
In 45 days, 30 days, he's going to kick your ass.
Of course. And not just 45 days off the mat, 45 days of beating the shit out of myself and not sleeping well.
100%. So if you have a brown belt here and you think you had a really good round and you're kind of, it's great to take it, but if you start to talk to people about it, like, hold on a second, find out, are they training 5 days a week or are they training 2?
Yeah.
Right? Because, and that's okay, but just for you to be self-aware that if you go and get someone that's training 5 days a week and they're purple, brown, black belt, that's way different than if you catch them in a season of life where they're training 2 days a week.
For sure, bro. And that's why I always say too about like, like Buchecha and Adam Wierzinski, when they travel around and do seminars, they do tons of live rolls with everybody too.
Crazy.
I mean, Buchecha used to. He's actually getting up there in age too now.
Yeah.
But it's funny when you can tell, like that guy that attacked Craig Jones at that seminar.
Yeah.
You saw that footage, right? He's like, oh, no more lessons. Let's just roll.
Yeah.
You could tell he was there to try and get a feather in his cap to tap Craig Jones. And it's like, dude, if I want to, now don't get me wrong. If I were training with Adam Wierzinski and I were to catch him with something, I'd be very proud of myself, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't make me the world champion.
Yeah.
I got to show up and beat him when he is at his absolute pinnacle. So it's like, you want to try and put that feather in your cap because you're going to beat a guy here, you're going to beat a guy there. Go meet him at his prime.
Also meet him at his prime for 10 rounds.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like if you caught them on one round because of some party trick you have, or some type of setup, that's different than, I won 10 rounds and kicked my ass 9 times.
That's right.
Once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a perfect example of that is there was a brown belt that came in here a couple months ago and he mopped everybody up, bro.
Nice.
He was good.
That's awesome.
He was good. But I'm not rolling live right now because I'm preparing for this, especially against a good guy who I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Like that has a recipe for disaster written all over it. And I said, Eli, go out there and regain the honor for this gym. And he went out there and he got beat, dude.
You know what?
No, but real quick, I want to say one thing. I said that in my own heart, there's a part of me that's like, fuck, you got to go put your gi on. And then it was exactly that though. I was like, this guy's been rolling for the last 45 minutes.
For sure.
I now put a gi on. That doesn't mean shit.
Yes.
That doesn't mean shit, dude.
Yeah.
Even if I go out there and mop his ass up, he's been training with all the beasts for the last 45 minutes. I've been on the sideline watching. I can't reclaim the gym's honor. There's not an option for me, even if I wanted to.
I know we're hitting up time, but I'd be interested in your take this. I think that like say a blue belt and a brown belt, let's just say like that range. If you're a blue belt that's training 4 or 5 days a week, and a brown belt's only training 2 or 3 days a week, that gap can close on a round.
Well, for sure,
right?
Bro.
And I think it's really important for people to understand that. I know that from my wrestling days, but I don't know if a lot of people understand that, right?
Yeah.
And so, but I think what's great about on those rounds then is take the wins is a lower belt, right? Take the win that you're progressing, because as a white belt, they'd still just mop the floor with you.
Yeah.
Right? So know that your fundamentals are getting better and your technique's getting better, but
don't become delusional.
Don't become delusional.
Yeah.
That if that brown belt decides that they're going to go put in 4 to 5 days a week, and about 14 days, those rounds completely change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then the last part of that equation is that the belts
Doesn't matter.
The belts don't mean much anymore. Because I'm here to tell you, I don't even know who he is. We could look him up on Google. The 21-year-old or 19-year-old from Manaus, Brazil, that won the world championships at purple belt last year would probably come in here and embarrass every black belt on the mat, including me.
Yeah.
Because that's where jiu-jitsu's at these days.
Yeah. I think, I think about like the kids like Riker, like Austin, right? The kids that are
Ransom.
Excuse me, Ransom, like Austin.
Yeah.
But also like Marcus. Like they're starting to wrestle now.
Mm-hmm.
And so they got this jiu-jitsu background and this wrestling background. And I don't think our club has had kids that have got grappling from like 10 years old. And when they step on it at 19, like we've had some 19 athletes, 18, 19-year-old athletes. But we're going to have these kids now that are going to come through here that are going to be like 190 pounds.
They've been here 10 years.
They've been here 10 years.
And wrestling.
And I've been at clubs where you've had kids like that. And they're like blue belts and purple belts. Like, oh, that's different.
Yeah.
And our gym's going to start to feel that. And that's going to be awesome.
Bro, I honestly think that moment is going to be like the official changing of the guard.
Yeah. Well, the best thing is like our 30 and 40-year-olds, all their games will up level because they're going to try to hold off that as much as they can.
As long as we fucking can, dude.
Yeah. But when that happens and those kids are coming up and then there's a wave, like Ewor's kids right behind them.
Yep.
All of a sudden you're going to look and go, oh, we have these 17 to 21-year-olds that are going to be real problems.
And now we're going to be 50. Expected to.
That's why
like Lappin says, only in jiu-jitsu are the 50-year-olds expected to beat the 20-year-olds.
So wild. So wild.
Fuck, we could keep going for another 2 hours, bro.
Crazy.
I'm having fun. But
yeah, me too.
I got to get to the airport.
Yep.
And I got to get this episode produced and all the shit. So thank you. I know it's been about a year since you were on last time, but I just enjoy talking life with you.
Yeah,
I think you have good just got perspectives that are rooted in reality, and we need to share more of that. So anytime you want to do this, I'm down, bro.
I'm in. Thanks, man.